Oh, thwip, thwip, thwip. We are back for another episode of The Good, the Mad, the Ugly. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. How is everybody doing out there? Welcome back to another episode of the show. I am, of course, your host, Spencer, aka Mav. And let me tell you, folks, if it wasn't obvious from the thumbnail already, we're going to be talking a lot of Spider Man this week because, ladies and gentlemen, we have had we we got one of the best issues of Spider-Man in a long time and one of the worst issues of Spider-Man in a long time. We also got some video game news involving Spider-Man. We also got some movie news that involves Spider-Man. I think you guys saw, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw the little hint. It involves Deadpool 3. How does that connect to Spider-Man? You will see. Obviously, you guys know my rule about, try to avoid the bigger topics of the week on this stream. So what does that mean? It means I have something cooking for you, and it'll be fun. Don't worry about it. But obviously, I think on that topic of video games, I think that so our main topics tonight are going to be Spider-Man, all things Marvel Comics, all that sort of fun stuff, and then also let's take a look at the Nintendo Direct that happened this week because honest to God, everybody, Nintendo killed it. This was one of the best directs, like Nintendo Directs, developer presentations, like especially of the Summer Games Fest season in general. I guess that's what we're calling it now because E3 does not exist anymore. But of this general new summer release season, they kind of blew it out of the water. It was amazing. I have to, while we're on the topic real quick, just give a quick, it pains me because Limited Run Games had their little expo announcement presentation where they showed off the games they were going to be releasing. And they're releasing a lot of cool old things from back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember, there was this game called Fighting Force, which was a sort of top-down isometric brawler that was on the PlayStation 1. They're making a Fighting Force collection. I'm super excited about that. But, of course, I don't support LRG anymore. Ever since all the stuff went down with Kara and all the stuff that went down with their... Okay, so obviously there's the stuff that went down with Carolyn in public where they fired her for, just following people on Twitter. But also, if you guys have used LRG, their, fulfillment and shipping, they're not very... What's the word? On top of it. It takes if you place an order, it's going to take ages for it to get fulfilled and ages for it to get sent out. And don't even get me started on the recent controversy about the 3DO games being just CDR burned copies, the same copies of games that you and I would have made back in 1999, right? So it's unfortunate that LRG has some stuff, again, credit where credit is due. I'm not just going to, blast people unfairly. But again, I'm not personally supporting LRG. If you guys do, that's totally cool. But, I stand with Kara, if you will. But yes, that I think is going to be the chunk of our time together tonight. Nintendo, Spider-Man. Obviously, if you guys have been here before or if you haven't been here before, the other topics of the night will be whatever you guys want to talk about. Obviously, this is an open discussion. I host this show to talk to you guys. So if there's anything you guys in particular want to talk about, anything you guys that caught your attention, obviously bring it up. If you've been here before, you will know that tangents are basically the lifeblood of this stream. I mean, last week we went like an hour and a half just talking about trading card games and not even strategy or anything, just straight up going, wow, Wizards of the Coast is really terrible with their products nowadays. So, yes, with that all said, let's get this show cracking by starting off with, hanging out and seeing what you guys are up to in the chat. First one here, of course, was Andrew, which, par for the course, but also he is not wrong. I am so gay. My streak, I believe, I don't know if Adam is here right now. If Adam's here, he can definitely get the exact number. But I believe my streak for no Xenoblade is 20 to 21 days at this point. Now, on one hand, I do admit that that's a lot of me. That's an L on my end. I've got to, just set aside the time to play. But I will... there was something major that happened over this last week that sort of took me away from my duties. It was a really big... There was a personal thing in my family that happened. Everything's okay now, but just that is why I have been so delayed. But that's not an excuse. It's just an explanation. I do need to get back to Xenoblade. Especially because I see my boy Zero, who is also here. Hey, Zero, I see him actively like blowing, like just flying through the game, and I'm like, I want to play, but I have to sit here and watch the damn Acolyte. I have to sit here and watch the Acolyte and write about the Acolyte. Why are you doing this to me? So I got to get that locked down. That's completely on me. Corey is here. What's up, my man? I'm glad you could make it at the start of this show. I know last week you popped in a little late, but I'm always happy to have you. I was late by like a minute, Wolf, all right? And that's because I currently am in Arizona where it is burning up, and I had to take just a shower to get myself like wet so that I could survive in this room for the next 2.5 hours while we're hanging out. I mean, look at that. I'm back. We're back doing a tank top stream, and I'm even wearing my embarrassing Naruto tank top, which is not fashionable, but by God, is it comfy. So that is where I am. I think the fact that I was here 2 minutes, maybe even just like a minute and a half behind, a new record. We're getting better. But yes, I was a little late. I will admit to that. Shinkai is here, my man. Says, how is everyone? Also, Spencer, thanks for mentioning Justified a couple weeks ago. Really liking it. Oh, hell yeah. Corey, let us give our man like a recommendation. Yeah, you've already got him. Justified is a great show. Glad you're enjoying it. Dude, I am so happy that you are enjoying it. Again, it's good TV. We don't have a lot of good TV nowadays. And honestly, this is the time to go back and check out all of these classics. And yeah, I'm really glad you're enjoying Justified. From what I remember, and maybe Corey, again, like it's been a while since I've watched it. I know Corey might have watched it a little more recent, like rewatched it more recently than I have, but I'm pretty sure that show doesn't like peter out. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty solid all the way through. So you're in for a good time. I'm here to talk about it. Anything you want to talk about, any theories, drop them in here. We're here for that. And yes, guys, if you heard that, my microphone setup is still busted. I am still working on my desktop, this stupid little setup. So I might occasionally bump the microphone. You might occasionally hear the little like, but by next week we're gonna be good. Again, there is just so much going on between life and bounding, and here's a little insider baseball for everybody here. We're working on so if you could consider Bounding 1.0 when John was still in charge of the site, and then his departure and my promotion as Bounding 2.0, we're now working on a Bounding 2.5 sort of refresh. Nobody's getting fired. There are no editorial changes or anything. It's mostly, looking at updating logos, updating the website, updating just our formatting on video icons, stuff like that. Things are going to look a lot more streamlined, a lot more clean. So we are working on that, but that is taking a lot of my time at current. I just realized we're doing that at the same time that the Rippaverse just launched their new website. So it is the summer of rejuvenation, the summer of the Phoenix, if you will. Wow, that's too anime for this mundane of an activity. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew says he's dying of the flu, but it's fine. Man, I heard you say that earlier this week. My freaking condolences to you. I don't know. The flu is an ass, and I know how difficult it is to work through sicknesses like that, right? I know you've been doing stuff, obviously, for Rippa and on World Class Bullshitters and hanging out with Pro. So I know you've been pushing yourself. And to that, I say, gimme. I want that flu so that I can have the excuse to knock out for like 4 days and just stream Xenoblade for you guys. That's what I need. That's the temporary cancer I have been looking for. But no, man, I'm glad you are okay. You're at least functioning. It's clearly not knocking you the hell out, which is when I get the flu, that's what tends to happen to me. I get shivers and I get exhausted. So good to see you're all right. I hope it passes really soon. Nothing worse than the flu in the freaking summer, when it's already hot and it's already miserable. And I know you're in Texas, so you're going to be feeling the same sort of pain I am. Shinkai says, don't think I'm a Western fan except for the Gallon hats. And then, yeah, Corey says, Justified is a great modern Western. It's the one show I've watched and that stayed consistently good and great throughout its run. Okay, I was right. I do remember that right. But yeah, Shinkai, I will say this. I am a big fan of the Western genre and the Western archetype of things. Stranger rolls into town, solves a problem, and then he's out of there, sort of struggling to survive on your own in a time when it is really just outlaw country. Like I love that. Like I love westerns, and so to this, I would say expand your horizons, brother, because there's a lot of really cool western material out there. Like I would personally argue like Trigun. That's kind of obvious. Trigun. I know Shinkai, you love anime. Trigun's a western. Cowboy Bebop is sort of a space western. We've got I don't even really know off the top of my head. Those are the two that like really always stick out in my mind. But uh, I sometimes make an argument that the overall idea of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is sort of westerny. You know, they pop from one location to another, just solving the troubles that come. But all that to say, I think westerns have a lot to offer. They're a great genre, and come on, Shinkai, like when you're like what guy every guy has the same reaction to like seeing a gun twirl that they have to seeing like to like picking up a stick in their hand, right? Like if we all go outside right now, if we were all to go hang out and we all found sticks, I guarantee every single person watching right now live, myself and everybody who watches this in the replay on the VOD afterwards, I know you're out there. If we all went and hung out and we all picked up sticks, we would all immediately just be like holding them like swords, wielding, probably like smacking at each other. It's just this inherent dude thing. And so like that's what happens with me. I see the revolvers come out, I see somebody do like quick shooting, and I'm like, oh man, it's so cool. But I'm glad you're enjoying Justified. Again, no criticism for your taste. I'm just saying like if it's possible, open up them horizons, brother. Open them up, expand your mind. The I don't know why this one always sticks out to me. Live Alive. I don't know if you guys remember this game. It's from Square Enix, or Square from back in the day in like the 90s. They recently did a remaster of it, but it basically the premise of the game is you play like 8 different heroes in different time periods, and one of them is a western setting, and that's like the best level of all of them, at least in my opinion. It's probably like first or second, maybe after the ninjas story. But I hate the ninja story because of all the damn rafter puzzles. Like it happens in a lot of Japanese games, but rafter puzzles where you have to like go in like the rafters and make sure the gears are turning and everything. I know it happens in like Ninja Gaiden. I know it happens in Resident Evil all the time. There's something about it where I'm just like, oh, this is so tiring. Maybe I think it's like the lack of visual differences when you keep going back into every attic and every attic looks the same. But yeah, those to me are my like Poison Swamp levels. I'm just like, ugh, why are we going back into the rafters? Tehillim, what is going on? Shalom and good to see you all as well. Tehillim says we'll be doing some reading in the background, plus need to catch up with some animated review. Yeah, I've been checking out your reviews, of course. You just reviewed something, one of your like Western comic reviews, and I was right. I had like the same opinion. I can't remember anymore. If I had your channel in front of me, I would. It's like the most recent one. Why can't I remember it? I just watched it like an hour before I went live. But anyway, good to see you, Tehillim. Glad you're here. Yeah, Zero says he's halfway through the game, and I'm like, look, I know you're halfway through the game, but you also don't have as much going on as I do. And that's not a dig, it's just like a statement of fact. I have to be a big boy sometimes. It sucks. I want my temporary cancer so that I can just play video games. Oh gosh, Corey, the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of math. This show is bad. Like Acolyte is, and it's not. Obviously, there's all the like, you know, lesbian space witches can make the life with the Force stuff, and damn it, you guys are doing it again. You're getting me to talk about Star Wars on this show. But I think the biggest sin of that entire show is that it's just boring. It's just not compelling. There's nothing interesting happening. I don't even have the smallest of reasons to want to even like. There's no. Even when I'm watching like a Marvel movie, right, or a Marvel show or something, I'm always like, well, maybe I'll see Spider-Man at least do a cool web shooting thing. Maybe I'll at least see Doctor Strange, you know, summon something cool. It's probably all going to be awful, but there might be a little thing that I can at least walk away from this movie going, that was pretty neat, not bad. I don't see that happening here. Like, it's so boring. And like literally, like, just boring. It's the best produced piece of Star Wars media in a long time. It's perfectly well acted. It's got some really good actors in it. Obviously, like the Squid Games guy is the lead. He's fantastic. I'm a personal fan of Daphne Keane ever since she was X-23, but it's just there's no reason to be reading this, or not reading, to be watching this series. So, oof. Um well, okay, not flying through it per se in sense of he's finishing it in record time, but he's playing it is what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Andrew. Shinkai says over here it was raining both today and yesterday. Yesterday was completely drenched, so I wouldn't mind heat. Dude, it is currently, let me see. It is 110 right now, just 3 degrees down from our high of 113, and it hit 113 at like noon today. So it's, while I am in my room, like in my house with all the curtains drawn and everything, I'm okay. I can survive. But like if I open the door, it's Terminator 2. It's the scene where Linda is holding on to the fence and she gets hit by the nuke. Oh hey, Reeve is here. What's going on, Reeve? How is it going? Mi amigo, always a pleasure to see you. I do need to play Xenoblade, don't worry. I feel like I need to go get like a special dunce cap that I wear every time I'm on stream, and I haven't played Xenoblade, and we can just like keep like notching on it. I definitely think that. Yeah, Reeve says it's 82 degrees and past 8 o'clock here. Right, like this is what we're getting into. It's getting into that summer season. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be painful. It's the rest of the year where I live, Arizona, is perfectly nice. It's really nice to be able to go out in the winter with, without a giant setup of winter coats and everything like I used to have to do in Illinois. But right now it's the stereotypical like cartoon where I want to like fan myself on the porch because woo, it is so hot here. Oh, Shinkai's saying, I'm just saying I haven't seen Westerns, so I don't have an opinion of them. Seen a bit of Trigun, and that was pretty nice. Yeah, no, and again, like, I'm not saying your opinion is wrong, or there's anything wrong with, even if you just straight up didn't like Westerns. I'm just saying there's some stuff out there, and if you are interested, I would definitely love to help you, because Trigun is really, really good. I think you would probably like the original Trigun a lot, Shinkai, knowing your sort of taste in anime. So that's all I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff out there. Hell, oh man, I see my man Cider is there saying Naruto tank top. That takes me back to 2006. That's what I was saying, Cider. This is like my comfy like yeah, I got this thing on sale like a couple years ago. I don't even remember where I found it, but it's the best thing. It's the most comfortable thing. But Cider, I'm glad you're here because you can maybe remember, if you're sticking around for like a second, there is a Sentai team that has the Gold Ranger, their 6th Ranger. It's like a cowboy themed Ranger who like his morpher is like a hamburger and everything. Like it's so funny. Damn it, I can't remember who it is. It's not Kyo Ranger. But somebody will remember it. If you Google Sheriff Hamburger Sentai, it'll come up. But yeah, like cowboys are cool. Just, I don't know. Star Ninja. Yes, there you go. Star Ninja. That was the one that had it. Thank you. I knew you would know it. I knew you'd know it. He's one of my favorite like things. Rangers, if you will, character concepts. Yeah, Zero saying, meanwhile, down here, we're entering winter. I mean, isn't that one of the weird things about the world? Again, the hemispheres, man. You guys are always going to be the opposite of us. So what even is a Brazilian winter like? Like, that even sounds like it's supposed to be some sort of, like, cocaine binge right there. A Brazilian winter. Cider says, I based Mustang Sonata on, or off of Star Engine. Okay. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Like, it makes sense. Like, why it's like the best one. I love it so much. All of those old Sentai teams are probably like they've just got that goofy G Gundam unique charm where they are unapologetic about taking a goofy concept and playing it completely straight. Zero says our winter is sort of like your autumn. Oh, that's wait, that just means it's like super hot then, right? And then maybe occasionally at night it might sometimes get a little cold. That's not bad. I want to say it's not bad, but this is Brazil. Brazil, for the most part, doesn't have a lot going for it right now. I know Timon is not here right now, but I know as soon as he does show up, or if he listens into the replay, we can always bring up the damn 200% import, or no, it's a 100% import tax now for Brazil. If you're Brazilian and you import something over like $50, you have to pay 100% of that thing or 100% of that price in import taxes. It's bonkers. So yeah, I don't know why. Again, every stream that comes up and I always get mad about it. Yeah, the cowboy hat helmet, the what do you call it, like the bandana being used as like the Kamen Rider Sentai-esque scarf, the hamburger morpher, do I like, here, I'm just gonna, let's see if there's any good clips on YouTube of the hamburger morpher, because oh, don't do this to me right now, YouTube. It's gonna, my browser's being all slow because I don't even know why. We're completely fine on streaming, but my browser just doesn't want to load YouTube. There we go. Maybe? All right. Henshin. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, your AC went out, Corey? Dude, I don't know if you guys watched the 01 stream over on Bounding into Comics with me and Cider and then Josh, Nerdigans, and Jacob on Wednesdays, but last week's show, not this week's, but last week's show, Jacob's AC went out in the, like, right when we started, and that dude lives in Atlanta. That's painful. Like, that is I felt so bad for him. He had to, like, get off stream, go to the store while we were all talking, and get a box fan. Like, my condolences to him. Hey, speaking of, Timon says he's still on the Sandrock quest. Yes, we still got to get you your Sandrock model. We still got to get your nephew his Goku. We were just talking about you, Timon. We were talking about your 100% import tax. So, speak of the devil, and he shall appear, right? But, yeah, here, to Mine Insider's point, let's see, where's the button here? Let's go to the web. Web. We'll talk about our stream buddy in a bit. Don't worry, that's part of the main show. But yeah, this is the best. Here, I gotta unmute the desktop audio. Be the American that Japan thinks you are. Burger Morpher. Like, I'm telling you guys. It's the best. I love that transformation. I love the character so much. Like, again, be the American that Japan thinks you are. Like, your All Mights, your Stars and Stripes, your everybody in Metal Gear Solid, if you will. I don't know if that's a compliment, but clearly they have a high opinion of us. I love Star Ninja, like, so much. Guys, go Tokushoutsu. Go subscribe to them on YouTube. They 24/7 have streams going of every Toku production you could want. There's a stream of Kamen Rider, stream of Ultraman, Godzilla movies, Sentai shows. There was something else they were airing the other day where I was laughing that it was even on. But they have all these offerings. They're completely free. They're dubbed. Fun times all around. I have them on when I'm working just to remind me of what good media is. So check that out. I know Cider tweeted about it like a week ago and I retweeted it. So if you need, luckily I don't use my Twitter that much. So if you need to go find those links, they're all right there. Let's see. Andrew says he would die. I'm assuming you're talking about the import tax, or he's either talking about the import tax or being in Georgia without the AC. Yeah, it was, again, my condolences went out to him. I was almost like, dude, don't even worry about coming back on the stream. This is absolutely bonkers. Like, just take care of yourself. Shinkai says, maybe this doesn't count, but I remember loving Badman as a kid. That was basically a Western with marbles instead of guns. Yeah, I remember that. That was fun too. I can't remember if we ever officially got that over here, but I remember back in my day on YouTube, when people would just be uploading clips of every random anime and stuff under the sun, cowboys using marbles was one of those like, oh, what is this weird concept? So I feel like let's check that back out, Shinkai. You and me, let's take this journey together. I am totally in to check it back out. Man, I want to get like I would get into Bakugan if I had a friend who would play Bakugan with me. I don't know if Leon is here right now, but like I know Leon plays Leon of Countercast, Caffeinated Bull over on YouTube. I know he plays like Magic and stuff. So yeah, I just if you want to play with me, Leon, anybody, let's play some Bakugan. Let's play some Beyblade. Again, my kryptonite is collectible stuff that you can also compete with. So let's be very, very careful here, ladies and gentlemen. Shinkai also says, Burger Morpher seems as funny goofy as Hot Doggin from Fighting Foodons. Dude, nobody remembers Fighting Foodons. I don't know why that show is like stuck in my head 24/7, but I remember Fighting Foodons from, yeah, what was it? Was it Fox? Was it Fox Kids' lineup? It came after Sonic X. Man, it was goofy fun. It was very much a very obvious Pokemon clone, but I had a lot of fun with it. It makes me sad that when people bring up cooking anime nowadays, they only bring up Food Wars, and Fighting Foodons is completely like relegated to the dustbin of history, and it's a bit of a bummer. Let's get our next gen Switch release of Fighting Foodons video game. Andrew says, I very casually play Magic the Gathering. My mainish was Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bummed. This is just like a side vent, blah blah blah. But like, I was hanging out with some folks here. I moved out to Arizona a couple years ago. Really didn't have any friends. Met some people. Started playing Magic with them, and I was having a lot of fun. And I was building decks. You guys all know that. And then I learned this week that they all don't really like me, so I guess that's over with. So if anybody out there, Andrew, Leon, anybody else watching the show, if you guys want to start an online casual Magic thing or something, totally hit me up. I wish I knew anything about Yu-Gi-Oh still or Pokemon. I would play them. I don't have anybody to play with, and I already play. You guys know this. I already play enough card games where if I'm gonna invest in another one, it's gotta get me. It's gotta be like if they make like a Kamen Rider game or a Super Sentai card game, you'll never see me again. I will disappear from the face of this earth. Yeah, Food Wars does have the Meat Shogun in it. She is the toppest tier waifu. That's another what do you call it? Be the American that or Food Shogun. That's not what it is. The Meat Shogun. Come on. Where is she? Well, she's right there, and for some reason I can't like wow, I'm blanking on it. Whatever. But yeah, she's like the absolute best. I love her. She's the Food Wars. This is I need the picture of her so that yeah, it sells what we're talking about, because she's got the American bikini. That's her character design. So America. Fuck yeah. Spencer, Google Lightning Ninja Wild. He's the American ninja of Sekai Ninja Senjuria, Gunslinger Ninja. Let's check that out then. We are here. Lightning Ninja Wild. Oh, yeah, I do know him. Yeah, he's from the Metal Heroes line or side from Jiraiya. Dude, I love all these old ones. Jiraiya just got released on it just got a Blu-ray collection from Discotech. So, again, remember what I was saying last week about Power Rangers? America is hitting its like Sentai stride. This is its high, its peak addiction to it, and Hasbro completely fumbled every single bit of it, top to bottom. Like it's still so funny to me. I'm still not over it. But yeah, Gunslinger Ninja. We need more of these. Oh no, what is it? Kamen Rider? Is it Agito? Where it's like where he has the it's like the green armored Kamen Rider busts out the gun during the fight. Man, I don't know why I can't remember these Sentai things today. It's Sentai overload, if you will. When you know every single name and ranger and plotline, things tend to get completely mixed up. Reeve says Food Wars was just okay. I thought that too. I thought it's one of those things. It started out really strong with a strong premise, and then just sort of didn't evolve from there. And I feel like it just petered out. I always found it weird that Food Wars never. Yeah, like I feel like it should have had some sort of cooking. I don't know. Maybe I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Revive it. Let's get a new video. Like a new movie. I don't even know the last time they did a Food Wars thing, but it was just okay. But it was one of those. I liked it as a kid. It was charming. I can't deny that, and so I wouldn't mind seeing it come back or be acknowledged. It's not one of those ones where I'm like, I need it. I need my Food Wars. But it's one of those. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see. Yep, Timon says Jiraiya is a fun toku, some great episodes. Overall story is kind of bad, but great fights and soundtrack. That's sort of the problem with these early 60s, 70s, 80s Sentai series, especially the Metal Heroes ones, and some of that era's Sentai shows. They are very straightforward in their plots, where it's, here are a group of bad guys who want world domination. Go for it. You're not going to get a lot out of it. It's pretty bare bones. It worked back then, but yeah, it's you need a little more substance nowadays. It's still good to watch. I still recommend everybody watch it because, again, do you not want to see Wild here? But don't expect too much out of the general plots. Yeah, Reeve, the manga and anime both ended, but that's what I mean. I don't even remember when they did. I don't remember. I haven't seen any sort of like anniversary things about it in ever. And I'm admitting here, maybe that's just my own Food Wars blindness. Maybe there's one of you out there is watching right now and you know Food Wars like the back of your hand. So if that's the case, let me know. I'm not here to attack Food Wars. I want to see more Food Wars. Bring it on. All right, let's see. More Toku is always good, guys. Just again, go subscribe to Toku Shoutsu. It's fantastic. Oh, weird side note. There's this Nintendo Switch Kamen Rider game. Here, I actually have it right here. It's like my Starscream figure fell because it was sitting on top of my Switch games. But here's this game, Kamen Rider Climax Scramble. This is real quick, and then we're going to get into our real topic. But this game, out of nowhere, it's like a one-on-one arena fighter, if you will, where you can move sort of like Power Stone, but a little more janky. This thing has a freaking competitive scene, like a legitimate American competitive scene. So I guess I know what I'm about to be spending all of my time on. If you don't know this about me, pardon me. Let me put that back. If you guys, and there goes my PlayStation controller. I've really got to like get all of my shit together. But if you don't know this about me, obviously, I'm competitive, like when it comes to stuff, and I am a big fighting game player. I was a massive UMVC3 player back in the day. Was involved in the not the major tournament scenes, but the lower tournament scenes. Helped run a bunch of like West Coast regionals and stuff when I was working at University of California, Irvine. So I'm a big fighting game guy, and there hasn't been a game that's engaged me in a long time since Fighters. And I still play Fighters, but if you can give me a fighting game with Kamen Rider, now we're talking. Again, Toku 5 ever. That is the motto of this stream. But to that end, speaking of all things, let me just pull this up real quick because I had it, now it's gone. All that said, speaking of video games, speaking of fighting games, all of that fun stuff, I thought because like I said at the top, I thought it would be a little fun this week because we got all of this news to just, before we get into our main topic for the night, let's talk a little bit about the Nintendo Direct that just went down on, I believe that was Wednesday, June 18th. That would have been Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was one of those. I knew that. time runs together. Yes, Reeve, I do want to take you for a ride. That is exactly why we are talking about this. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, this, like I said at the top, this direct was incredible. I am hard pressed to think of anybody who didn't get something out of this direct, except maybe all of the. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was this leak going around. I know if you are in Andrew in Caffeinated Wolf server, we were talking about this when it was around, but there was this leak going around ahead of time that it was bonkers. It was like they're gonna announce Twilight Princess HD for Switch, and they're going to announce a new 3D Zelda and a new 2D Zelda and an F-Zero GX remake. And it was like, literally, who is dumb enough to fall for this? But this is the internet. Some people were, and those were the people who were mainly disappointed in it. Like, those are the biggest reactions I've seen. So again, overall, Nintendo, they nailed it this year. This is another year where they get to come in during the Summer Game Fest E3 season and just sweep everything. I did that because, you know, the little switch motion. But let's get into it. Let's take a look at what is coming up from the good old trading card manufacturer themselves. Zero says, I don't trust Capcom to make a collection, especially after they censored the Darkstalkers collection. There's also shit they do with putting a trigger warning on their old games, alleging they don't change anything. Then you play it and find out they changed it anyway. This is 2024 Capcom for you. So, I'm going to push back against you because I do that a lot. Or in this sense, with Capcom at least, I will push back. Let me rephrase that. Because while they have done some dumb things like censor certain character art and sprites in the Darkstalkers collection, again, I sing its praises all the time. This is one of the best collections that, like, players have gotten in a long time. Mega Man Legacy or Battle Network Legacy collection. Nothing is altered. Everything is kept intact. And they have extra modes put on for, you know, if you want a little something out of it. Now, I know that a lot of people have a problem with those. This game has one. You saw it in front of Tomb Raider. They're putting it in front of a lot of classic cartoons and stuff. But disclaimers saying, oh, some stuff in this is, you know, outdated. It's not, you know, appropriate, yada, yada. I don't actually, you know, as anti-censorship as I am, I think those are the perfect compromise, because for the people who actually give a shit about that, who actually think all of this is offensive, everything is, you know, needs to be addressed, you give them that one screen, done. They don't care, because they only care about the performative aspect of it. They don't give a shit. They got what they wanted, and everybody else gets what they want, right? So in that sense, I am not ruling Capcom out. We are seeing a lot. Of course, this is 2024. I'm not going to ignore all of the really dumb things that have come out of Capcom lately that we have been seeing, such as the anti-piracy stance, the refusal to make a Mega Man game, the uglifying of certain characters across their games. Like, they are suffering from a lot of these problems. But at the same time, I am going to be excited about whatever collections they put out. I have the Capcom Arcade Fighting Collection. Nothing is censored there. No endings, no character sprites. It seems to be a very department specific change. Like whoever. So maybe that's why Darkstalkers got edited. I don't know. I'm obviously not a Capcom employee, but at least on my part, I am waiting to see. I will reserve judgment to see if they censor anything, because there's also just not a lot to censor in Marvel vs. Cap in these games. At worst, you would the main thing anybody would touch in these games is Morrigan's sprite, and nobody, that is not, like, I don't know how to make this, like, to communicate this, because it seems so, like, such a big thing to declare. But you can't touch that outfit. You just can't touch Morrigan's outfit, otherwise everybody is going to lose their minds. Both, like, neoliberal fans and normal people, right? Like, everybody and their mother would lose their minds because it's such an iconic look. I mean, you can give her variants or whatever, but anything that covered up any aspect of her, that desexified her just a little bit, is going to go, it's just not going to fly well. So I think that Morgan is one of those rare instances where Capcom won't touch her. They haven't touched her in recent memory as far as I can remember. So again, I will reserve judgment for when it comes out. If it comes out and it turns out a bunch of stuff is censored, then I'm going to call it out. We'll be writing articles on Bounding. I'll be covering it on the show. I will be tweeting about it. I will be ranting to high heaven because, as we'll get into, this is my shit. Like, these are like Mavcore to the extreme. You can see, if you play these games, you can see where so many of my artistic, creative influences came from, my video gaming tastes, my style tastes, just all of this stuff. So trust me, Zero, I'm not here going, Capcom's the best, they're the greatest. But I'm also not here going, everything they're going to do is going to be awful, especially when I'm holding proof against that right in my hand. People still found altered stuff against the original Game Boy games. I don't know what you're talking about. There was nothing changed. There were, what changed in the Battle Network collections were they corrected some of the names, like the grammar of some of the names in the chips that you use in battle, but no dialogue was censored, no designs were censored. I don't know where you're getting this information, but it's wrong. Literally, they kept in the scene where they have the black guy speaking in a stereotypical, like, accent, if you will. Like, oh, like, you want some of this? Nah, you too young. Go suck on your mama's teeth. And that's how you get the whiskey item for that side quest. So, I don't know where you're getting that. As far as I know, unless, like, all this has is edits to the grammar and edits to the like, menus, because you can't access all the menu options, if you will, and the disclaimer at the beginning. So let's Capcom went out of their way to push older players away and appeal to audiences that don't exist. People expecting me to blindly hype for their nostalgia bait are insane. Nobody's asking you to blindly do that, but I'm saying here that oftentimes, and we're seeing it right now, you got to let your guard down. Not everything is a DEF CON level, let's presume that this is going to be bad. Because you know what? Here's the problem. If you make, let's say we all, or like right now, we're all going less censorship, less, catering to people who don't play your games, less narrative over gameplay. Everybody is saying that right now. So if that's what we want, if Capcom hears that and they go, okay, let's try to appease them. Like, all right, let's listen to them and give them something they want. If they try that and they announce it and everybody just goes, no, I don't want that. It's going to be the worst. You guys always fuck it up. Why are they going to ever try to give us what they want? That's why we've got to, you always, not you specifically, but like the royal you, we, all of us, we've got to be vocal about supporting what is good and decrying and not supporting what is bad. Again, I'm not going out and I'm not buying that Darkstalkers collection because they censored all that stuff in it. But I'll buy the Battle Network one because they didn't. You know what I mean? So we'll get into it. Obviously, it's a little bit down the list, but let's see what everybody has in store for her. Yeah, Volume Dealer is true. You could cover her up and still have her busting out. They do that in her, one of her win sprites in both Darkstalkers and Marvel is her in like a therapist outfit where she's got like dress pants and like a button up top, and yes, absolutely busting out. Let's see. Flex is here saying, I can't get into Ultimate X-Men and its quasi-spiritual weirdness. Let's put a pin in that because we'll obviously talk about comic books a little bit later. And unfortunately, that's the kind of stuff that is really getting to me. That creep factor, that uniqueness to it. I am loving Ultimate X-Men. It's way better than Ultimate Black Panther at the very least. But we will talk about that. For the time being, let's get into the stuff that came out during this Nintendo Direct. First off, so we're just going to go down this IGN list. I don't have any special presentation prepared. This is the first time I'm looking at a full rundown of what they announced. I watched the Direct, but obviously I don't remember exactly everything. So let's take this journey together. First off, at the top of the list, as you guys can see here, new Legend of Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom. It is a spiritual, I don't know what you want to call it, spiritual sequel, direct sequel. It's at least in the same style of the Link's Awakening remake. I am not a fan of this particular art style, and it's a little unfortunate because Link's Awakening is my second favorite Zelda game of all time behind Majora's Mask. I will play that game forever. I used to like I got that was one of my first games as a kid for my Game Boy, and I just loved it. I was playing it all the time. It's masterpiece, personal masterpiece, right? Unfortunately, there's just something about this art style. It's not bad. It's just not for me. Yeah, see, there goes Zero. I think that's what it is too. Like it's a plastic aesthetic. I don't know what it is. It just feels like, yeah, it just doesn't feel fun to me. It feels like plastic. It's cheap. Again, just not for me. Zero's also saying, and I agree with him. The gameplay here is probably going to be amazing. They always are. I like the fact that Zelda doesn't play exactly like Link because we get unique ways of exploring and moving around the world, which is kind of exactly what Zelda is all about, right? Like every Zelda game is about exploration and uncovering mysteries and yada yada, so on and so forth. And so, like, I think Zelda using her magic and all this stuff, there's a lot we can do here. So, cool to see it. I probably, unfortunately, won't play it because I can't stand the art style. I am excited for those of you who do want to play it. Full steam ahead. It's probably going to be a lot of fun. And, yeah, good. Again, coming out swinging, Nintendo. You didn't need to go this hard. Zero says, not the Zelda or Flex says, not the Zelda we expected, but definitely the Zelda we needed. I 100% agree with that. It feels like it's been a while since we've had one of these more unique Zelda, like not mainline core Zelda games, like a Spirit Tracks or a Phantom Hourglass or a Minish Cap, where the core gameplay focuses really hard on one specific gimmick, right? So again, this looks like it could be great. If you like this style, you're probably going to love it. Otherwise, if you're like me, we can save our money for when Twilight Princess really does get an HD port. Zero says they could have used the art style of A Link Between Worlds and it would have netted a better result. I agree. I definitely think that the art style for A Link Between Worlds was that good balance between the ultra hyper realistic Zeldas we always get and this. So it does bum me out that we aren't getting more of that. I feel like it was like a one and done. It will come back eventually, as Zelda art styles tend to do, but I'm right there with you. I think should have gone with that art style. And then Zero also says, Aonuma, Eiji Aonuma, current series producer, needs to stop thinking he's making a game for kids. Most people buying this game are Zelda fans like me. So I agree, and I sort of disagree with this point just a little bit. And you're not wrong, but I think there's one bit of context missing to this entire conversation, right? Zero asks, is that image on the side Peter bathed in psychoactive goo? No, that is him in the rain. Don't worry, we will get into the psychoactive bullshit goo in just a little bit because you guys know me and Spider-Man. We will get into it. Trust me. Don't you worry, Zero. But so to your point, Zero, about who is primarily buying Zelda games, I think that because my knee-jerk reaction is sort of the same as you. Younger kids aren't playing these games. These are more for like teenagers or older fans. And then I have to step back and I have to remember, do you guys remember the anecdote I just told maybe 30 seconds ago? Link's Awakening, I played that as a child. I was like 9, 10. That was the game that got me into gaming. It's what pulled me in. So what I'm trying to sort of say to this point is that I think kids are buying and playing Zelda games a lot. I think Link has become sort of a brand, like a face of the brand. You have him in Mario Kart. You have him in Smash Brothers. You have him as just sort of a general icon in pop culture. So kids are definitely buying this, Zero. To your point, I don't think that they necessarily need to go, this feels almost like they're trying too hard to pander to that kid demographic, because kids also love adventurous looking things, not hyper cartoony style things. Look at Disney movies, look at Ocarina of Time, look at A Link to the Past, look at Link's Awakening, like we're all talking about. So I think this is too cartoony. I think there are definitely kids that are playing, so you got to appeal to them, but you don't need to appeal to them like this. This is almost infantilizing them. Going, you're a kid, you're gonna like this. When you're like 12 years old and you're starting to get into that moody teenager puberty phase, and everything that was a kiddie stuff is uncool. That's sort of what this feels like. Like when your parents come up to you and go, "Oh, Andrew, oh, Zero, don't you want to wear your I'm just pulling things out here. Like your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sweater to school?" And you go, "No, Mom, like you don't get it. I'm not a kid anymore." Like that's sort of what is going on. Like that's sort of a good analogy for what's going on here. Yeah, Andrew says, Zelda has changed its art style very frequently. I was like 10 playing Link's Awakening DX on the Game Boy. I'm fine with top-down games being more cartoony. Just give me back Twilight Princess style for the main games. So, yes, Zelda switches its art style up all the time. I'm not opposed to art style changes. Like, when Wind Waker came out, I was one of the few people who, when it first dropped, I was like, that looks great. That's so new. That's so unique. What are we doing here? Let's check this out, right? And I was one of the people who I liked the brighter tone of Skyward Sword. And I know you're getting tired of it, but I'm a personal big fan of the more anime aesthetics of the Tears of the Kingdom style right now. So there's room for all of these art styles, everything. I am very much a proponent of 99.99999% of the times there are no bad ideas, just bad executions. And I think that's what's happening here. We could have gotten a more lighthearted thing that looks like Zero said, like a Link Between Worlds. Unfortunately, I don't know why this is what they leaned into. Part of me has to think there was some budgetary thing that they didn't want to, because remember, this was a Link's Awakening. This was the art style for Link's Awakening's remake. I think there might be something where they were like, oh, we don't know if this is going to sell. Do we want to put all that development into it? Well, we got to make it look new at some point. What can we do? Yada, yada, yada. Who knows? Either way, I'm not against it per se. It's just, it's not for me. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to skip on this one. But I think the gameplay is going to be fun. And whatever they give her here in terms of arsenal or moveset or whatnot, it's going to show up in the next whatever Smash is. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to have a lot of good execution. Timon says, Nintendo is for kids as Candy Crush is for moms waiting to pick up kids. That's a really good version. I actually really like that too. I mean, just to your point, Timon, how often do... and I think, that sort of stopped with our generation and anybody around our generation, but like our parents' generation and people before them. Nintendo used to be synonymous with just the idea of a video game. Let them go play on the Nintendo. Do you have a Nintendo sitting around? Hey, do you have, I just got a new Nintendo game. No, you didn't, Aunt, whatever. Like, that's clearly a PlayStation game. Yeah, for the Nintendo. Flex says, if Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are ever ported again, it'll be to the Switch 2. I would love that. In terms of the Switch 2, I don't know what they're going to do with it. Nintendo is sort of very fickle and different when it comes to what they do with their consoles, right? Like sometimes they make lots of graphical leaps or not graphical, but like hardware leaps. Other times they don't, and they go for something like a second screen on the Wii U. My only hope right there, Flex, and you actually sort of sparked this in my mind right now, because what could they do for the Switch 2? What could that hardware look like? I wouldn't mind seeing sort of an HD Zelda collection, even if they did like a 2-part thing where we got Ocarina, like everything from A Link to the Past to Ocarina. I know that's a big hefty ask, especially considering how big the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are. Those probably wouldn't be added to it, but it could be something fun to see. But I agree with you. I think if we're not going to get any more major ports of anything for the Switch, especially considering where it is right now. To that end, it's in the article, we'll get to it, but off the top of anybody's head, do you guys know, was the Metroid Prime 4 announcement, was that Switch 1 or Switch 2? Or just, let me rephrase that. Was that Switch 1 or did they specify hardware? I can't remember, and that might give us some insight. And then, yes, Andrew, Mav, it is woke because whammon. So this is such a dumb piece of discourse that's been popping up around this game. Obviously, we all know the trend that when a thing is announced and it has a female protagonist, even if that female protagonist is completely normal and deserving and not like forced in there, you get people screaming, "This is woke now. Oh my gosh, they're going super feminist. This is so annoying. Why can't we just have like male characters?" Obviously, you guys know I run Bounding into Comics. I'm of that opinion sometimes too, especially when it comes at the expense of degrading other male characters, taking away what makes them unique, or even diminishing the character of the female character themselves, right? Like we see that all the time. But this is around Zelda, it's been particularly stupid because the only people who are even mentioning this discourse are the extremely stupid ones on both sides. Now, in this case, there are not a lot of people running around screaming, "This is woke, oh my gosh, feminist propaganda, yada yada." However, there are still very small individuals, and I mean individuals, like not influencers, nobody with a big channel. For example, you're not seeing people like myself, you're not seeing people like World Class Bullshitters, you're not seeing WDW Pro or Nerdrotics or Geeks and Gamers. None of them are going out and saying, "Oh, this is woke, I can't believe it." You are seeing just individual people in Twitter comments, in YouTube comment sections. The sentiment does exist. But like I said, those people are stupid because Zelda she's always held her own. She's always been a core essential part of the Zelda series, and she is her own character. And this game it's not saying, "Here's Zelda, give her the Master Sword, she's going out and adventuring now." They're using Zelda's strengths. They are she's magic based. They're not giving her a sword, even though she's been shown to have a sword in or in Hyrule Warriors. So anybody who is losing their minds over this is kind of stupid. They're the hyper reactionary people who just want to farm clickbait, farm your rage, don't really care about the product, have never really engaged with the series. They just see girl equals woke. And again, oh man, I believe it was I think I fell in love with this term. I was on, if you guys saw, on Monday I hung out with Leon over on his Countercast. He came up, or he was dropping the term the woke right, and I'm sure people have heard this before. It's not new. It's not like he probably didn't come up with it himself, but that was the first time I heard it, and I really liked it because that is the perfect way to describe this sort of mentality. And it's that, "Oh, this is so woke now." Well, it's just the same as everybody decrying everything as racist, right? Like, it's the exact same mentality. You guys are just jumping to conclusions. You're seeing it superficially. You're not engaging. And it's not helpful. It doesn't get anybody on our side. It doesn't get our message across. When you engage in this sort of woke right nonsense, it just makes you look like a jackass, which is what anybody saying, "Oh, woke Zelda, blah, blah, blah." Anybody saying that is an idiot and can be completely ignored, just hands down. On the other hand, on the other note to make is that the people who the most how do I even say this? The idea that people are running around screaming Zelda is woke en masse is based on nothing more than the weird fantasies of video game journalists. Every time I see somebody mentioning Zelda is woke, it's journalists or people in the industry mocking that sentiment. But that sentiment doesn't come from anywhere. So it's just another one of those instances where they're making something up in their mind that fits with what they want to screech about. So anybody bringing up Zelda's gender as a political statement or anything more than just a genuine creative decision, ignore them. Mute them if you have to, roll your eyes and go outside, don't reply to them. It's all dumb. The one thing I want to sort of drive home, because I've been mulling on this for a couple days, haven't really had an outlet to talk about it, and that's why I run this show. But if you guys remember, the entire point of Zelda Link Ganon is that they are three parts of of the Triforce, which is sort of the foundation of all of Hyrule and all of that world, where, you know, you've got the Triforce of Wisdom. So Zelda is very smart. She's very wise. I mean, that's her entire character in Ocarina of Time. It's in all the games, but it's very well presented in Ocarina of Time. Ganon, Triforce of Power. He is a man who, he knows what he wants. He wants to rule, and he knows how to do it. And he's no slouch. He's obsessed with power, and he knows how to get it. Like, that is something you need to see in this sort of world. That balances out the wisdom of Zelda knows when to, like, what to do and when. Ganon says, nope, I'm just going to do it. And then Link is the Triforce of Courage, because it's the courage to fight against what's wrong, especially if it's somebody that powerful. Like, they're all supposed to work together, not opposed to each other. So that's why anybody who's trying to make this a culture war issue, full of shit. Just straight on. Let's see. Reeve says, if we can get Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, they have no excuse not to give us Wind Waker TP HD. I don't think they're not giving it to us. I genuinely believe that is just a timing decision, right? We're on that precipice of a new console. You don't want to really release it now because maybe you want to save that as like your killer app to sell Switch 2s. I fully, you know, if I want to put on my tinfoil hat, I believe that those games, like, those source codes are ready to go. Whatever the ports are, like, obviously the source codes are there, but I mean, like, the button to compile it for the next season is ready to go. They just need everything set so they can go, all right, we know what we're doing. Now we can move. Because, yeah, they're just in a state of flux right now. But I agree. I agree. If they can give us that, they can give us the Zelda remakes. And then I agree, Flex would love an Oracle of Ages season remakes in the new style. Do you mean in this style? Because if it's this style, not going to agree with you that far. But I love those games so much. I would kill for, like, that like a remake of those two, technically 3 games. I don't know if you guys remember, but one of the first streams we did here for Good Mab Ugly, the main topic was the announcement of the live action Legend of Zelda movie, and the stream buddy for that night was the Oracle of Ages incarnation of Din, who is like a top 10 waifu of mine ever since I played those games back in like 2003. So the Oracle games need to come back. I love them. I keep wanting an Oracle implementation in the Smash games. Like, put in the season wand where every, you know, maybe you give it to Toon Link, or you replace Toon Link with like a Link to the Past Link. You guys know what I'm talking about, like the brown-haired one who wears he doesn't have tights, he just has like the little kilt tunic. You know, maybe he has the wand, and it's like Sora's Magic, where each attack cycles through one of 4 seasons, and you got to like time it right. Or maybe there's something you do with the harp that sends you through time, where maybe it's like you play it over here and it sets up a teleport point, so you can go and you can fight, and then you hit down B or something again, and it warps you back to where you were before. That's something I've always wanted to see. That's just a long roundabout way of saying I love the Oracle games, hands down. Yes, Reeve and Andrew are correct. Hold on. Zelda does have a sword. She does have one in Twilight Princess. It is a rapier. She does use it when she uses it when possessed by Ganon, but it is her sword. She has it on her. I believe she uses it in the last cutscene too, to like either like point or like slash out. She does something with it, but she definitely has a sword, and she uses it in Hyrule Warriors. I don't know why I said it like that. You all probably knew that. It's just sort of a more matter-of-factly, like, yes, she has her sword, and if you didn't know, she uses it in Hyrule Warriors like, that's her main fighting style in Hyrule Warriors. Age of Calamity, she gets magic, but sword in Hyrule Warriors. Yeah, Timon says, the game should have been named The Legend of Link, since you play with Zelda. Missed opportunity. I think that would have been a little fun too, because that's sort of always been the joke for years, right? Like, a Zelda game where your Zelda is Legend of Link, and also is Zelda, you know, Zelda, what is it, like, that's Zelda is a girl, like, whatever that, like, I'm saying the joke wrong. I was talking with Jonas earlier of That Park Place, and he made that joke, and now it's stuck in my head, and I'm delivering it wrong because I'm a big dum-dum. So, that said, we'll move on. Zero, I don't know which tattoo you were talking about on my arm, but quick side note, This is the band logo for Blink-182 before they broke up the first time. Got this when I was 18 because they are I was 18 and dumb and bored, but they are the band that got me into really playing and appreciating and like creating music. Like if it wasn't for them, I would have never picked up a guitar or written a lyric. So that's why they're there. And then this one is the bear on the California flag inlaid with the flag of Chicago because I am from California. I was born and raised there, and then my family is from Chicago. So just a neat little tribute. That's what I've got there. Got more over here, including the panel where Trunks blows Frieza away after slicing him in half. My favorite moment in all of Dragon Ball. It is on my side. But yes, let us keep going. Yeah, you got it. It is the California flag bear. And yeah, Shinkai, we all have a game we would kill for. The game I would like the main games that I would commit acts for, my friends. So if they get announced, you might need to call the police and be like, hey, have you seen my friend? He might be responsible for this. Or a new Marvel vs. Capcom, like a genuinely good one, not that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite crap, and Mega Man Legends 3. Just give me it all. Like, bring Rock back from the moon. I don't know how much longer I have to wait for this game. My birthday is tomorrow, and I am starting to get genuinely scared that I'm going to die before Mega Man Legends 3 ever drops. And that is saying something because every game under the sun has gotten a sequel or a remake or a something in the last 20 years except for that. So we better see it, damn it. Anyway, let's get back to this. That's Zelda. We got our Metroid Prime 4 reveal, that was super unexpected. Just that's how Nintendo just has a way of their final blow of all of their presentations is just amazing. And yeah, exactly, Reeve. Metroid Prime 4 is coming out before Legends 3. It's a little bullshit. It's a little bonkers. I hate it. Absolutely. I hate it so much. Again, I love that this is coming out. I hate that we're not seeing Mega Man ever, or we're never seeing Mega Man Volnut ever again. I've come to terms with it. It doesn't mean I'm happy about it, right? It doesn't mean I still don't cry into my roll casket body pillow when I go to sleep at night. No, I wish. Hey, if anybody has a lead on a good roll casket cover for a body pillow, hit me up. I will definitely buy that. But yes, we got the first look at Metroid Prime 4. Looks like a Metroid Prime game. Looks like it'll be a lot of fun. Not a lot to say about it yet. I will say the most surprising thing about this news was the guy from Federation Force, like the main guy from Federation Force, the main bad guy who we all thought would just never show up again. Ta-da! He's back. He's like the main thing. So kudos to Nintendo for sort of not backing, or not backing down, but how do I phrase this? I have a lot of respect for any creator or company or what have you who, if they go, oh, I think this is going to be an actual banger of an idea, and it shits the bed. I have a lot of respect for people who go, that was bad, but it is now canon, and I have to find a way to make this work. I don't want to just, wave my hand and retcon it. Obviously, there are some instances like Zeb Wells' Spider-Man where I will take the latter. But, kudos when you have a bad idea and you go, or what am I saying? It's less sticking to your creative thing and more like being, I don't even know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. So just take that. Metroid Prime 4 looks really good. Excited to see what armor variants we get off of this one. They're not even saying here on this blurb whether it is a Switch game or the next console game. So if anybody can remind me, I don't remember. I'm guessing it's probably the next to Switch too, because this is just like a teaser. I don't know. I don't know. 2025 could be a Switch. What do I know? Shinkai says, the game I would kill for is a Steambot Chronicles 2 or Steambot Chronicles on modern hardware. Don't play with my heart, Shinkai. I love that game just as much as you do. So I would, even a remake with like new nice graphics and some quality of life updates would be fantastic to play. Reeve, let's see. Reeve says, how would you react if Legends 3 got revived? So, let me give you, this is how I would react, and I'll give you some, or what am I trying to say? Let me, to illustrate how I would react, let me recall when Smash announced Mega Man, or yeah, when Nintendo announced Mega Man for Smash back in like 2019, 2020, whatever it was. That morning, I was sitting in the living room of the apartment I lived in at the time by myself. I had my laptop on my lap, and I was not expecting anything. I knew it was going to be a Nintendo Direct. I knew we were probably going to get a Smash character announcement. Had no real expectations outside of that. I remember being pretty pleasantly surprised throughout all of the Direct. And then, you know, that last bit, they say, all right, we're going home, everyone. Here comes the Smash logo. When Mega Man hit, when he teleported in and his silhouette hit the moon in that trailer, I physically sprung from my couch, screaming, arms up, like, oh my God. I almost broke my laptop because I just let it fly because it just flipped off. Luckily, it landed on the couch and not the floor, but like, I was losing my absolute mind. I was yelling to the point where a neighbor came over like a couple days later when they saw me getting the mail, and they were like, what was that all like? Were you okay the other day? What was up? And I was like, oh no, I was just playing some games with some friends. It was just got rowdy. Like, so that's how I reacted to Mega Man and Smash. If they announce Legends 3, I can't say what I would do because it is NSFW. It will get us banned from this platform. It might even get us banned from Twitch. That's what's going to happen. So, OnlyFans stream the day Mega Man Legends 3 gets announced. I'll see you all there. Let's see. Zero says, I have only one reservation about this game, and it's about the people on Retro Studios. Given their scurrying at Nerdigans pointing out who's on the game's team, I feel reason for concern. I can only expect Nintendo and Sakamoto to keep that team under short reins. So, what do I want to say? I want to expand on this just a little bit, Zero, because I've been seeing this more and more, and not necessarily concerning Nerdigans specifically. But a lot of people, this is sort of what I was talking about with the woke right? Like, a lot of people now are looking to attack and taking everything somebody does in their personal lives as an indication that something is going to go wrong. Oh, look, they have a rainbow flag in their bio. This game is immediately going to be the worst piece of trash ever. Don't hire them in this industry, blah, blah, blah. To me, I sort of don't care what your personal politics are, what you want to go, you know, donate your money to or your time to. I care about what is the work you're putting in. Are you developing a Metroid Prime game? Are you putting in a lot of care in during work hours to get that physics engine right and make sure that all the lore lines up? Cool. I don't care what you do in your off time then. I'll probably disagree with it, but that's what America's for, free speech and disagreement. So as long as they can do a good job developing the game, I don't really care how they want to go about interacting with people on Twitter. Obviously, it doesn't help when they come out and and that's a different thing than developers coming out and attacking the audience, right? If they're coming out and attacking the audience, call them out immediately. That is not acceptable, especially when the audience is just saying, I don't like that. But if they're just, you know, saying, oh, I don't want to interact with these people because I know that there's no talking to them. Like they no matter what I say, I'm not going to get through to them. Or, oh, I'm going to lock my account because I know that this just got announced and a lot of people are going to be flooding my inbox. So like in that sense, do whatever you want to do. Don't attack your customers, don't attack people, and don't start, you know, just swinging. We'll be fine. Let's see. Okay, they did confirm Switch 1 in the trailer. Oh, that's right. Silex wasn't, he was in Hunters. That's right. He was the bad guy in Hunters, a cameo in Federation Force. That's right. Thank you, Reeve, for correcting me. But still, like, Hunters? We remember Hunters exists? I genuinely didn't think Nintendo was going to do that. Let's see. Andrew says, I'm officially going to create a Dozer bingo card. That thing gets filled up in 5 sentences. Like, I love you, Zero, but I know exactly how that bingo card would play out, and I know exactly how fast it would get. Um, Shinkai says, LOL, I've also had a moment where I accidentally flipped my laptop. Achieved Ultra Instinct by catching it with my shin in the air before it had a chance to drop. Was okay afterwards. I love those, like, those, I call them Spider-Man moments because they always remind me of the scene from Spider-Man 1 where Mary Jane trips and Peter, like, grabs her and then uses the tray and, like, catches everything. I love those little moments where, again, the human mind, it's an incredible thing. All those physics calculations, all that calculus goes into it just, like, immediately. And it's cool that we all, like, our brain just does that. And sometimes it works out. Other times, it's like what happens with me where my phone drops and I go to stop it with my foot and I end up just kicking it across the room. Volume says, the problem with releasing a Zelda game in this point in time will get major criticism. Not so much if this was 2010. So we were talking about this a little earlier. It will get a lot of criticism, but anybody who does try to criticize it on the approach of it being woke or feminist or whatever, they're full of it. Like, it's just, this is not one of those scenarios where it applies, unfortunately. Even especially given the fact that she's not replacing Link. Like, Link's on the cover. She's not using a sword. We're not doing a alternate universe, multiverse take where in this world Zelda was the one to save the dance. Like, it's none of that stuff. They're not doing any of that stupid Marvel Comics level stuff. So I think we'll be a little okay for this one. Yes, 1,000 Arms part, a proper Legend of Legaia sequel or 1,000 Arms port to modern consoles. Who do I need to give my money to have that happen? Yeah, Zero, 100%. Listening to Culture War people, pilled people in terms of Zelda is not, you're going to have a bad time if you do that in this instance. So, that was Metroid Prime 4. Looks good. Obviously, I'm sure probably most of us here will be playing it. Then we got a new Mario and Luigi game, Brothership. Looks good. I really, really like the translation of the art style here from 2D to 3D proper. Problem for me here is I have not played any of these games. I know they are really, really good. I have heard nothing but good things about them. I love the art style and I love the artist, like, to death. I just haven't played any of them. So this is one of those ones where I can't play it because if I'm going to play it, I got to go back and play the other three, and who knows when that time is going to come up. So I'm happy for everybody who likes the series, who plays the series actively. I think it looks really, really good, and that's really all I can say about that. I'm glad they're bringing it back. Looks fantastic. Enjoy, everyone. Maybe someday I will be able to catch up with all of you and play this as well, but don't hold your breath, especially considering how long it's taking me to make it through Xenoblade. Yeah, Zero's right there with me. This is interesting. I'm gonna say, though, I never played a Mario and Luigi game. Right. And again, like always, it's not because of the quality of the title, or I don't have anything against them. I just don't have time. I don't have the time. Again, give me my temporary cancer so I can just sit down and play it for play video games for like 9 months straight. But that's Mario and Luigi. Looks pretty good. A lot of people are trying to make this a localization issue because the Japanese version has Mario and Luigi RPG Brothership. That's its name. And then here we drop the RPG. Heads up, that's not a localization issue. That's just one of those legacy localization things. We have never called it Mario and Luigi RPG over here. It's always just been Mario and Luigi. So just a quick little clarification note on that end. We'll pause you. Then we got, I might play Xenoblade Reeve. We might see what happens. This is Pride Month. We really do need to get into it. So maybe I will play some Xenoblade after the stream. We will see. It all just sort of depends on what I've got going on in the aftermath. I have to take stock of my evening, and then we will see. But next announcement, we got a Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, along with Dragon Quest 1 and 2. If you guys know me, you might know that this Dragon Quest 3 is one of my favorite, like, absolute favorite RPGs of all time. This is one of those ones that I used to play religiously as a kid. You guys know me in alternate costumes, right? This is sort of the game that opened that up to me because all of your party members are recruitable. They all look different depending on what class they are. They all look different depending on what gender they are. This game, I don't know what it is. This game is just one of my favorites. It's pure RPG goodness in like almost every sense of the word. Like if you were looking to say what is the RPG genre, you would show them this original one. So I'm excited for this because I am a giant fan of Square Enix's 2D HD efforts. Obviously, I loved Live Alive. The Octopath Traveler games have all been beautiful. So I think like this is the right way to remake these old games, especially, they're keeping the sprite work, which if you guys have heard me talk on this show before, that's the shit I live for. That's what I love. That's like, I love the artistry of sprite work and the just aesthetic of it. So to me, HD 2D is the way to go when you're recreating these games. Live Alive style, Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3 style. It is the style I would like to see a Chrono Trigger in eventually if they ever get to that. And I know Andrew's going to be in here and he's going to go, no, where's my full 3D Dragon Quest 11 style reboot of Chrono Trigger? But on my end, I would want the HD 2D one. So pretty excited about this. The one thing I want to point out, and I think is odd, and it kind of just doesn't sit right with me, even though it's sort of not that big of a, well, maybe it is that big of a deal. I'll put this to you guys. Box art here. Question for you. Do you all remember who passed away earlier this year? Do you all remember, the mangaka, if you will, very influential mangaka, passed away earlier this year. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. His work has been everywhere. Guarantee if you grew up in the 90s or if you're alive right now, rather, his work. So answer that question. Everybody write down your answers on a piece of paper. Second question. Who was the art director of the Dragon Quest series prior to his passing earlier this year? Same person. Okay, exactly, Timon Toriyama-sama. This is weird to me that in the year that he passed away, especially when they announced this HD remake of Dragon Quest, they are not using even a Toriyama styled piece, right? Like they're not even contacting Toyotaro or something, or using old like HD scans of his original artwork for the game. They decided to err away from that in favor of a generic fantasy anime look, which it's not a bad look and it communicates the aesthetic, but this is one of those games that the art style is part of its identity. You don't get Dragon Quest without Toriyama's art, without its look, without all of its designs. So this just feels, I don't think this was a malicious thing. I genuinely don't, but it definitely feels like somebody dropped the fucking ball here. Like this just feels like you missed an opportunity to honor Toriyama-sama himself. And it's just, it's a bummer. Maybe there is good chance we get this changed, or not we get it changed, but it does change before the game comes out. Who knows? It's just, that's like the one thing that really gets to me. Yeah, not liking this art, says Timon. It's fine. It's an objectively fine piece. It's just not, it doesn't work with the game and what we're discussing here. So that's Dragon Quest. Let's see. We'll see what happens with it. It could be good, could be bad, but given their history of the HD 2D games, I'm all for it. Next up, we got Donkey Kong Country Returns HD coming to the Switch. I could have sworn, didn't they already do this for the 3DS? So this is like the third time this game is getting ported. I'm not against it. This is a really fucking good game if you guys have not played it yet. One of the very few where the rumble implementation of the Wiimote actually worked for what it was, shaking it like this while doing platforming. Solid outing. I have no idea if they're going to keep the waggle controls from the Wii version on this one, but I know Corey mentioned it earlier. Pretty excited for this. Definitely worth a play if you haven't played this one yet. Lots of challenges, gameplay to the core, chef's kiss. Next up, we got a new Mario Party, which is fine, I guess. Mario Party to me is fun. It's a good group activity, but I've never been one to go, yes, new Mario Party. I'm super excited. Oh, this is going to be the thing we're going to play forever. They're good. They're fun. I know lots of people have more friends and they can play with them to get, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. People have friend groups who like this game. So for all of y'all out there, enjoy it. It's probably going to be fun. It's bringing back some games, obviously, like they always do, boards from old games. There's going to be new boards. So probably going to be great, as most Mario parties are. Enjoy it, everybody. And then, yes, we got, this was the big announcement for me, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Like Zero said, we already sort of touched upon this at the beginning of this segment, where obviously Capcom has their problems. There's a possibility that they could censor the games in this collection like they did with Darkstalkers. There's also the possibility they leave it untouched like they did in Mega Man Legacy Battle.net or Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. But aside from that, this is a really fucking good collection, guys. This is all of the mainline Marvel crossover games, the Capcom developed Marvel fighting games, up to 2, and it also includes The Punisher, which was it's a 2D side scroller beat 'em up, but that was the first game Capcom ever worked on Marvel with, and if it wasn't for that, they never would have gotten Marvel Superheroes, Street Fighter, all that fun stuff. So these games have my favorite art style of all time. Just the aesthetics, the high-paced game, like the fast gameplay, the vivid art style, all of that stuff. I love every single game in this collection. I'm going to check this out, and I would highly encourage everybody else to. Heads up for, yes, exactly, Flex Marvel, baby! Heads up for anybody who is interested in this collection. They are doing a physical release for PS4 and Switch. If you are interested in that at all, I highly recommend going and grabbing your pre-order right now, because Capcom is notorious about not printing these games, like physically. They'll always be on the eShop, but definitely you need to go get if you want it physical, you have to get on that. So if you haven't played these games, just the fucking best like fighting games of all time. Tons of fan service, tons of love. Just, I love them. That's all I can say. Yeah, exactly. Mango Sentinel. We're going to go see the New York Knicks. I'm going to teach you how to do an infinite. I will be streaming a bunch of this. I will be going online and I will be fighting people in MVC 1, even though it's completely outdated. And you will all have to suffer with me whenever that stream happens. So, moving on from what I consider to be the best announcement of the night. Yes, exactly. The Curly Pringles, Zero. The Curly Pringles are back. Moving on from Marvel. Again, I could stay there all night just talking about it. Like, love those games. I have so many anecdotes, so many, like, tournament stories. Just so much to talk about. But we've got more to discuss, and the first one of those is the addition of A Link to the Past, the Game Boy Advance remake, Perfect Dark, Metroid Zero Mission, and Turok to the Nintendo Switch Online, which is pretty cool that we're now getting these M-rated titles. I believe they're in a separate like app you might have to download, or like a separate sub ecosystem on the eShop aside from the regular Nintendo Switch Online. But progress is progress. That's incredible. I think that's probably the smart move to do, so that way, kids aren't, your 4-year-old doesn't boot up the Switch and is greeted by blood and guts from Perfect Dark. But these are pretty good additions. If you know me, these are good if this is how you like to play your games. You guys know me. I am a dirty member of the Straw Hat crew, which is how I play most of my stuff. So I've had these available to me for a while, but it is good to see them conveniently available for new audiences. And also, if you guys haven't used the Nintendo Switch Online, pardon me, what do you even call it? Virtual console, I guess, is what the technical name. Nintendo Switch Online. If you haven't used that system, it's really, really good. Lots of it feels good to use. It's really easy to do save states, load things, back out of your game and load up a new one, go back to a level, whatever. There's a lot that I like about that, essentially that emulator. So cool for everybody here. glad to see Four Swords coming back. I hope they port the actual Four Swords game eventually, because I still need to finish that one. Beat this one with my friends back in the day. We still have a couple dungeons left on the actual game, so hopefully that comes sooner or later. We got a new look at the Nintendo World Championships NES Edition game. If you guys don't know what this is, it's basically it's back in the day, they used to have a world championship for Nintendo. It was basically like speed running and point challenges. And the games you played were unique builds made specifically for that competition. So levels might be endless or enemy placement might be moved around. That's what this is going to be. It's a cool little novelty. I'm probably not going to pick it up. I might play it. If a friend has it, I might play it for like half an hour just to check it out for the novelty again. But it is what it is. It's not bad. It's just does nothing for me. Looks like we're getting basketball added to Nintendo Switch Sports. I haven't really played this one compared to Wii Sports, so I don't know if it's as fun or how it plays. Might be cool. You guys let me know. All right. This bullshit. I actually want to make as I've said throughout all of these streams, I do have a lot of recorded like content, video, not essays, but just videos in the works that I want to upload to this channel. One of them is about the fact that what the hell, like, Horizon is the most industry plant game of all time. We're not going to get super into it because that'll be saved for the video. And also we should probably eventually get to talking about comic books and Spider-Man. But this, here's sort of like, this is even going to be a preview of my video intro. Lego sets, right? When I was a kid, Lego sets were pretty bare bones. But there were the occasional that were licensed, and the licensed ones were big properties. They were Batman, they were Star Wars. Nowadays, we've come a long way, and we have a lot more licensed sets and such, but the licensed sets are still from very, very big properties, very, very big things, whether they be international landmarks, Harry Potter sets, Marvel sets, DC sets, that kind of stuff. We have it all, but the thing about them is all of those sets are notable in some way. They're big cultural phenomena. If I went up to you and I said, Andrew, Zero, Flex, Shinkai, Timon, Corey, anybody here, what do you think should be the next video? Like, what property in all the world should get a Lego set? Horizon would not fucking rank on anybody's list. Where's Dragon Ball? Where's Gundam? Like, I'm just looking around my room. There are so many other properties that are left to adapt that are more well-known, way more popular and more notable. And so, to me, this, anything Horizon related just feels like a complete, it's forced. It's completely forced. No, the game was not popular enough for it to be added to a Lego Horizon, like a Lego game, or even not added to a game, get its own Lego game. Its own Lego game. You know who gets that honor? Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones. You just heard what I said right there. None of, all those franchises are leaps and fucking bounds more popular, more everything than Horizon. In 10 years, nobody is going to remember that Horizon, unless the games are still being pumped out, nobody is going to remember that Horizon was a thing. In 10 years, everybody will remember that DC was a thing, that Harry Potter was a thing. This is so... It's such a flash in the pan thing that I feel like you are forcing so hard. That's why it feels so forced, because it's so flash in the pan. It doesn't stand to all these titans, and yet you're trying to make it happen. Where's the, here, I have the perfect meme for this. And also, we can also use it to dig on, one of the dumbest people alive. But, this is what all of that reminds me of. So that's Drake. Yeah, who invited my man, blood? He thinks he's on the team. Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like, Horizon does not get to stand amongst that pantheon, and yet they are trying, trying so hard to make it a thing. Stop trying to make fetch happen, essentially, is how we get here, right? Um, Yes, Reeve, there is a Lego set for the Queer Eye guys. That was one of the ones where, that's another one where I'm like, okay, you're just trying too hard with this one. Nobody was really rushing out to get a Lego Queer Eye set. Yes, and as Zero's pointing out, this is a Sony franchise on a Nintendo console. Like, what Sony is, like, it's just a disaster. And like Zero said, this was billed as the Zelda killer, and now the Zelda killer is coming to the damn Zelda system. Like, it's so sad. I'm sorry. I know Horizon has its fans. I will even admit that the game looks objectively really good outside of some of its character models, as we all know, but it's just not. Days Gone deserves more recognition than Horizon does at all. So this just feels like when your friend tries to make a joke happen, make fetch happen, and it just won't. So I'm not playing this. I just, unless by the time it comes out, I am making money from being on YouTube and streaming stuff for all of you fine folks, like, or being paid to make content about video games, maybe then I'll play it. But if I'm choosing what to spend my own time on, never happening. Like, not voluntarily, at least. Yeah, Reeve, that's the other one. Thank you for bringing that up, Reeve. That's the other point to the industry plant thing. Aloy was added to fucking Genshin Impact, which is weird for a number of reasons. One, not anime at all, like two completely different demos. Like, the anime fans are not a fan of Horizon, and Horizon fans are not necessarily the fans of anime. There's of course an overlap, but for the most part they're in their own camps. But then, like, so they like forced her in, and to that point, she was so unpopular and so, like, nobody cared about it that the last event for her banner was canceled. So for those of you who don't know Genshin Impact, basically one of the core mechanics is, as you progress through the game, you upgrade the rank of the characters you have unlocked from 1 star to 5 stars, so on and so forth. Aloy can't get 5-starred because Sony and MiHoYo canceled the last event for her storyline. So Aloy is in Genshin, but she can't even be used in the end game. That's so, like, to my point, that's how I know she's just, like, forced. Like, somebody up there, Herman Host maybe, Aloy is his waifu, and he wants her in everything, whether anybody wants her or not. And I mean, she's the Rey Skywalker of video games at this point. Like, it's so all of this is embarrassing. I am hard pressed to find anybody who's genuinely excited about this outside of hardcore Horizon fans, of which there are 5, and people who are just so into Lego they will buy anything. Like, let me clarify this too, which is going to be such a bummer. Like, this is a bummer point on this. These games, if you guys have ever played the Lego games, they're really, really, really fun. They play fantastically. They're full of fan service. If you've played any of the ones where they, adapt other stories, so like the Star Wars games or the indie games or the Lord of the Rings ones, the way they, like, interpret and translate these events to the Lego setting, it's just, they are joys. So this game is probably going to play really, really well. It's going to have a lot of fun moments, especially if you're a Horizon fan. Unfortunately, it's sort of you're wasting talent on this disaster. Timon says Simpsons versus Futurama Lego game. Do you guys remember Lego Dimensions? That's sort of what the premise was before, where it was like, buy your minifigure, scan it into the game, and you can use it. I remember the Simpsons got a set out of that, so they are there are options for it. I would love to see Futurama in anything more. I love Futurama. I love it so much. Timon says Lego games are fun only if you like the franchise they are adapting. Yes, exactly, 100%. Like, they are great if you love it. If you have no care, you're gonna be like, all right, move on to the next thing, which is what most people are going to do here. No idea about this mobile game. I know it's from the Final Fantasy creator, Sakaguchi Hinobu. I know nothing else about it. I don't think anybody else really knows that much about it. Might be cool. I have to look into this more. That's all I can say. We got a comfy farming simulator type game for the Lord of the Rings, which if you're into it, I guess it's probably going to be fine. It looks very casual. Not a lot for me here. Not a lot to say about it. Good luck, I guess. Again, really nothing to say about that. Hello Kitty Island Adventure, the GOAT of the show, is finally free from the App Store. This is more of just that's more of a meme reaction. I don't know if you guys watch South Park, but in the episode of South Park where the boys play World of Warcraft and they get sucked into the competitive scene of that, there is a joke where they're trying to get all the kids together to play and fight back against a griefer, and Butter says, "Oh yeah, I played my computer all the time. But I'm not playing World of Warcraft. I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure." And it was a fake game back then, but in the years since, it has become real. It was on the App Store. It's cute. It's fun. Not a lot. It's a Hello Kitty game, Hello Kitty mobile game. Check it out with your girlfriend, I guess, if you want. But yeah, hopefully Baditz Maru is in there. Oh yeah, he's right there. Never mind. Game of the year. We got a new update for the Mystery in Monolith. Haven't really played it, don't even really know what this is, so enjoy, Disney fans. I guess we got an update. We are getting the Luigi's Mansion 2 HD release a couple days from now, actually, a little under a week. We will be getting that on the Switch. Obviously, I love these games. Not a lot to write home about the HD remake. It'll be an HD remake of Luigi's Mansion 2. It's fantastic. Play these games. We need a Luigi's Mansion collection, and we're talking about collection. We got our Funko game. It's a Funko game. Like, I don't know if you guys actually watched this trailer, but man, part of me is like, oh, neat. It's a crossover game where I get to play all these characters I would like from other medias, but it's Funko. Like, something about this just like fills me with despair. That fills me with despair. This selection screen is so heartbreaking. I don't know. I can't even describe to you why it's so specifically heartbreaking. It's just so Funko. And there is a possibility this might be cool. It might be like a hidden gem of a video game where its system is surprisingly complex, but it doesn't look like it's going to be, and it kind of looks like it's going to be IP the game. And good luck, Funko fans. Whatever. I hate Funko Pops, so doing nothing for me there. Let's see. Metal Slug Attack. This is a new tower defense game for the Metal Slug franchise. I am genuinely excited to play this. I love the Metal Slug franchise. I love the tower defense genre. I do wish it was a proper Metal Slug game, but hey, at this point, I am going to take what I can get, and at the very least, it is not a microtransaction to hell gacha style mobile title. So might be cool, might be fun. I am looking to check it out eventually. I have it for my Pakistani Switch already. I had it grabbed it before we went on stream. So I will give you a better review once and if I ever have a chance to turn it on. Got a Darkest Dungeon 2 is coming to Switch. That's cool for people who play that. I do not play Darkest Dungeon. I have nothing to say there. Got a new Looney Tunes sports game. Could be cool. I'm not that jazzed on it. I know people will be. I do like the Looney Tunes. There's just nothing about this that is appealing to me. If I want a fun cartoony sports game, I will load up one of the Mario Hoops titles, even if I have to go back to the 3-on-3 one from the DS, where you could play as the Final Fantasy characters, which I used to play all the time in class against my friends my senior year of high school. We are getting a port of Stray, which is cool. Never really spoke to me. I didn't really care about Stray. Guess that's cool for all of you guys. We are getting a this Mio game. It looks pretty neat. It's a Metroidvania. I'm always sort of a sucker for those games. Art style is pretty. Reminds me a lot of Hollow Knight. not exactly, but I think you guys can see the comparison. Could be cool. We'll see how that plays out. Not a lot. Again, not a lot. As we get to this bottom, there's just not a lot to write home about for all these stuff. Got some Among Us updates. That's really cool for all the Zoomers out there. A new Just Dance. All I'm going to say about that is I think it's a really cool effort that Ubisoft still does Just Dance consoles for all the old systems that people, they know that it'll sell. They know that it's not hardware intensive. So the Wii is still getting Just Dance 2025. It's a neat little thing, easy cash. Shout out to them. Ace Attorney Investigations getting a collection from Capcom. I'm in for this. I love these games. They are essentially visual novels. Not a lot to say about them. If you like zany Japanese style humor, you're gonna love these. If you are not a fan of slow-paced visual novels or adventure games, give this one a pass. We are getting a fucking sequel to Phantom Brave. I don't know if you got. So here's a little insight into my childhood. When I was in high school, I was obsessed with these Atlas strategy RPGs, Makai Kingdom, Phantom Brave, La Pucelle, Disgaea, all of these. I love these games, and Phantom Brave is probably my second favorite of the batch after La Pucelle, so definitely excited about this. Cannot wait to get into it. What really pains me personally is that I have all of these games on PS2. Like I used to, in high school, back before the internet was super, like Amazon 2-day Prime and everybody was selling everything and video game collecting was a huge thing, I used to, after school, in my senior year of high school, I didn't have a 6 period. So I essentially got off of school an hour early. However, I had a younger sister who was still, she was an underclassman, and I had to pick her up from school. So I couldn't really go anywhere. Luckily, there were, a couple Game Stops within 2 miles of my high school. So I used to go video game hunting. I would look for import titles, or I would look for these. So I have all of these original PS2 prints, which, like, I'm not one of those weirdo game collectors, but it's neat to have. And all of my stuff has been in storage for 4 years, ever since I had to leave San Diego, and I just miss seeing my things. I just wish I could sit back and look at a bookshelf and go, man, there's all of my stuff. Unfortunately, it's going to take a while to get there. Donate to my Ko-Fi or to my PayPal if you want to help me achieve my dream of becoming a homeowner. But thank you, Biden, for the fact that I cannot do that. But anyway, yes, Phantom Brave sequel. I am super stoked about that. Cannot wait. Another monster farming combat thing. I think it's coming from Marvelous, who was the previous studio who used to handle the Sengen Kagura series, so the talent of gameplay might still be there. However, that visual style just sort of isn't doing it for me. It looks a little too mobile and cheap. Maybe, hopefully, reviews come out and they say it's great, because you guys know me. If you got collecting in it, I'm right there. I'm your man. A new game from the creators of Danganronpa is finally on the horizon. I am a giant Danganronpa fan. I don't know if he is watching right now, but one of my best friends, Steven, and it has, over the past couple years, become a tradition of ours to play these games together and sort of geek out about them together. So I'm very excited about this. You guys know that I just finished up Rain Code last year. It made my top 5 games of 2023. Apparently, this one is going to be a strategy RPG, which makes me very excited. I will admit, during Detective Rain Code, I was getting a little bored with the traditional Danganronpa style visual novel thing. It was a little too easy and a little too streamlined. So I'm very much looking forward to this gameplay. I guess I can just have the trailer playing in the background while we are talking about it. But yes, as Zero has mentioned in the chat, this game apparently put the Spike Chunsoft and the Dangan creators in the red. They spent a lot of their money making this. It's apparently been in development for years. It is unfortunate, but that being said, that I will 100% be buying a copy of this game to help them get out of the red. This is, if you're looking at this right now, this is literally Danganronpa mixed with Rain Code, mixed with like Final Fantasy's summons. It looks bonkers. I don't have any idea how this is actually going to play out. All these character designs look awful, which means we are so back Danganronpa fans. Who knows? Like, this guy is just, what's her name? It's the ghost from Raincoat. So excited for this for sure. We'll be looking forward to that. Hopefully it's good, but I'm probably going to like it no matter, regardless. We're getting a remake of fucking Romancing Saga 2. It has been years since I have played it, so excited to revisit this. This is one of the ones where, Zero, I would throw up your caution and cynicism, because I genuinely have no idea what they're going to do, or if they're going to do any changes to this one. So we will see. We're getting an update or not an update, but we are getting a second Fairy Tail game. Haven't played the first one. Maybe Shinkai you have. I know you are a giant Fairy Tail fan. Yes, Zero. It is a remake. It is not a port. It is not a remaster. They are full on remaking Romancing Saga 2. So I am excited for that, to see how that turns out. And then, yes, we are getting that Fairy Tail 2 game I was talking about. I haven't played it. Might be cool. It is from Koei Tecmo and Gust, which means that is the team behind all of my favorite Musou games and the Atelier Ryza series. So I haven't played the first one. It's probably good. This has a lot of potential. The UI is a little boring, but we're still in pre-pro. So we'll see how that turns out for Fairy Tail fans. And then we got this cute little Denpa Man trailer, which is, it's just a cute little Switch style game. I love it. I can see this being a lot of fun. Maybe not particularly deep, but it does remind me of, what was that? Was it Street Pass? Or on your DS, your Street Pass, it had a function where you could play like an RPG sort of thing with the people you met on Street Pass as your party members, and it reminds me of that. So looks cute, is probably genuinely fun, and we will see how it plays out. But that is everything from the Nintendo Direct. Obviously, the winners for me, the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, Metroid Prime, the Danganronpa game, the Ace Attorney collection, and what was the other one here? Oh, the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. Those are my, so solid winners. Not a lot here that is genuinely bad. Lots of, the worst reaction I had to these announcements was, don't know anything about it, not for me. So I would say personally that's a pretty good sign. And yeah, at the very least, with everybody else in the industry, fucking up for all of their problems, at least Nintendo does deliver more often than not. Okay, so if you noticed, I kind of rushed down that last part just a little bit, because I noticed we are getting into the 2-hour mark for the show. I don't want this to become a 3-hour stream where I keep you guys all night. Obviously, I know everybody has fun stuff to do. You got video games, you got friends, you've got comic books to read. So that being said, let's get into this, folks. Let's get into tonight's main topic, which is the current state of, oh, hey, look, that little logo that I am not ready to debut is hanging out there. Let's talk about Spider-Man and just, oh my God, where do I even begin right now, right? Shinkai says, I have the Fairy Tail game. We'll play it one day, have a lot in the backlog. Hey, I hear that, man. I am right there with you. I just thought if anybody here would have played it, it would have been you. So you'll probably get to it before any of us. And when you do, give me a ring. Give us a ring on stream, and we'll talk about it, because I'm genuinely interested to see how this is all going. So tonight's main topic: Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, the Amazing Web Crawler, the Wall Crawler, the Webhead. He has had a rough go of it the last couple years. Or that's not even a good intro. I am so excited about what we are about to talk about that I can't even get my thoughts together for a proper introduction. Basically, I guess let's step back for a minute. And this week we got, in terms of our Marvel Comics releases, we got 2 pretty big issues from the Spider-Man family. We got the first issue, or the final issue of the first arc of the Ultimate Spider-Man reboot. As you can see, I have it pulled up right here. We also got, unfortunately, which I will pull up now for you all to see, and this is, I think this is just in the eternal words of George Lucas, it's pottery. It rhymes because we got this issue, but because of I don't know if you guys know this, but the main Amazing book has a print schedule of twice a month as opposed to once a month. So because of that, overlap, this week we just happened to get the release of the conclusion of the first arc of Ultimate Spider-Man on the same day as this piece of garbage. The latest issue in Zeb Wells's garbage Amazing Spider-Man run. So it is, I guess the thesis to this entire segment is that it is absolutely bonkers how the difference in quality between these books, between Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells and Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman. I have rarely seen just one writer know how to handle a character and another writer just absolutely no clue what he's fucking doing. So before we get, I guess, let's talk about Amazing first, because this is our problem child. So let's get our problem child out of the way, and then we can talk about fun things. So if you guys remember from the last time we talked Amazing, we are currently in the middle of the second rehash of the Spider-Man Who Laughs arc from Wells. This is the second time he has tried to make Peter into a goblin-esque guy who has sort of given into his gotten past his inhibitions and is just going pure ID and ego and being kind of an asshole. The exact same stories we have seen, mind you, with Symbiote Spider-Man, with both Ben and Kane in the Clone Saga, that we saw with Superior Spider-Man. Like, we have seen this what if Spider-Man broke bad scenario millions of times in each configuration. And what Wells is doing here is just nothing new to that point. So if you guys remember, last issue ended with Chasm, or last issue, Peter went full Goblin. For some reason, okay, I don't understand this, and I think this is Zeb Wells and Marvel fucking up. So last issue, Peter went full Goblin. The Goblin code that Norman had left planted in him, in his mind, it came out and it turned him into this. It turned him into the Spider Goblin that you see here and on the cover. What weirds me out is that this weird command, so basically what it was Norman left a hidden code, like a mental code inside of Peter's head during the last Spider-Man Who Laughs story. And then last issue, he said his code phrase and activated him. So then the Goblin came out. My problem here is, for some fucking reason, it turns him physically into a goblin. What you're seeing right here, that's not a mask. That's physically who Peter is. And it's weird because, okay, I could understand if that's what you were doing with the overall goblin concept now. But in this book itself, why is the page is not going? In this book itself, the literal next page, you see that Norman is still doing the mask. He's not even like a goblin person. So I don't even know what the hell they're doing over there. They clearly don't know what they're doing over there. And this issue just keeps getting worse and worse as we go on. So one thing I do want to say, and this sort of bums me out, and we'll blow it up. I am really bummed that Ed McGuinness has been wasted on this, on the various arcs of this Spider-Man volume, right? This volume's main artists have been John Romita Jr., as we all know, and McGuinness. McGuinness, as you can see here, is fantastic. All of his characters have just a fluidity of movement. They all stand out. It's not messy. They're each able to stand out on the page without taking away your focus. It's very he's got expressions. There's action here. Like, look at that trail coming off of the glider. You can see he's doing the Z movement, and then you can see Ben like whipping his face around. McGuinness is fantastic. Todd Knack's good too, but he's fun. I'm talking right now about Ed McGuinness. But it is so sad that McGuinness is wasted here on just absolute garbage, because these are some of the best. He's just so good. I love his art. I love seeing him on anything, and it just bums me the hell out. So here's where everything gets really stupid. So before we get into what makes everything stupid, let me turn to the chat real quick. I know you guys are talking. Flex says, only thing keeping me hanging on to Amazing Spider-Man is Kraven's possible heel face turn. I get that. I'm only reading Amazing Spider-Man because I need to see how this train wreck goes. I don't think this run is ending anywhere positive. Like, there's just no hope for this, right? To that point, actually, I just recalled we did not address this. This stream buddy tonight, if you do not know, Marvel finally announced this week that Zeb Wells' final arc on this fucking book is on the horizon. We do not know how long it will be, but it will be starting in this issue of Spider-Man, issue 58, for which this piece by Romita Jr. is the cover. So in light of all this Spider-Man news, I figured we would highlight the fact that we are almost free at last from Zeb Wells. Like, I cannot wait until this man is off of the Spider books, as we are seeing right now. Timon says, Chasm looks like a poor Spawn cosplay. I agree. But I also will admit, his design since his introduction has grown on me. And I think, and I will admit why, I think a lot of why it has grown on me is because I like the glowy effects on him. You guys know me, I like colorful, I like translucence, I like that effect. So I think all of that is a really cool bit. His overall suit is I am right there with you, Timon. It's sort of too edgy, 5Me. It's a Spawn. It's very close to Spawn. It's not a bad costume. It's not Ben. This shouldn't have ever been Ben. This is more of a Miles thing. But I also do like, I don't know if we've highlighted it here on this show or if I've talked about it, but Ben, though he uses like chain whips, like God of War Kratos style. He generates them from that like ghost energy you're seeing, and I think that's cool. I just really like that. There's just something that tickles the imagination of the inner 13-year-old. But aside from that, you guys know my thoughts on Chasm. I need this motherfucker retconned immediately. And I don't even care if it's a good retcon. I don't even care if it's just the first issue of the next run. Ben shows up in his normal suit and goes, I was out of town. I don't know. I genuinely don't care if that's how you fucking do it. I just need it gone. Yeah, Zero. Zeb Wells goes away, but the damage he's done to Peter stays. Oh yeah, we will get into that. It's so bad. So yeah, Flex right here, he's giving a better recap of sort of where we got here. The Green Goblin, Gold Goblin, whatever you want to talk to him about, whatever you want to call him these days, he brainwashed Spider-Man into being he basically brainwashed him with a machine. It inserted a goblin personality, but all of that sort of makes sense, Flex, because that is very much the method, the way they got to Superior Spider-Man, right? Just swapping out brain patterns. Why did it physically turn Peter into a goblin? It doesn't make any sense. And to that point, here's how you know it doesn't make sense, and here's one of the stupider moments that I'm so pissed off about. So here's how fucking just dumb this entire second Goblin Who Laughs arc, or Spider Who Laughs arc, has been. Not only was this giant set, not only was it convolutedly done with, oh, I actually implanted a secret code in your brain and now I'm activating it, and now you're full goblin. Like, not only was it that convoluted, but it was hyper built up for like months. And the Spider Goblin costume from the last 2 issues was thrown everywhere. Marvel was going, whoa, you've never seen Spider-Man like this. It is undone. You do not even get a full issue of Spider Goblin in either book, right? So what happens here? Yes, exactly, Zero. This is where the stupid shit starts coming back. This is where my blood starts boiling again, because not only do they just immediately back away from the plot, it's undone because of the stupid psychoreactive goo that turned Ben into Chasm in the first place. Which I don't know if you guys remember. Here, maybe while I am doing this recap, I can find it, because it is so genuinely insulting to me. Actually, Google can help me with this. There we go. There we go. Thanks, Google. Sometimes you're not entirely evil and trying to destroy humanity. We can go here, get that issue. Okay. Where is it? Where did it pop up? Oh, right here. Is it this one or is it the one before? Okay. Is it this one? Sorry guys, I gotta make sure I'm getting the right one so that I'm yelling about the right thing. So, okay, I do have, for those of you who do not recall and you would like a small little refresh of what the fuck psychoreactive goo is, if you will. So here was, if you guys do not remember, the last volume of Amazing Spider-Man, or the last big story, involved Peter Parker went up against the UFOs, the Fantastic Four villains, and because of their powers being radioactive and all that sort of stuff, when they fought him, he won, and they had to run away, but they left him hospitalized. He was barely hanging on. He had to go to the hospital, radiation burns, radiation sickness, all of this crazy shit. During that time, the Beyond Corporation, who has been a sort of constant throughout the Marvel Universe for some time now, approached Ben and said, Ben, the world needs a Spider-Man while Peter is out. Can you help? Do you want to be Spider-Man? And they started helping, Ben leapt into the role. And for me, I was so excited. You guys know I fucking love Ben. He's my favorite character. He is Spider-Man. He is basically the version of Spider-Man if Spider-Man could healthily accept and move past and deal with his guilt and let himself be happy and not be completely beholden to every mistake in the past. Again, I'm not saying there's no reason for Peter to be like there. We all know that his life has been hard, but Ben, it shows what you can be like if you can healthily deal with it. So long story short, Ben is Spider-Man for a modicum of time, but as the plot progresses, they start manipulating him, and basically Ben's memories are deteriorating, and the Beyond Corporation is helping him every night. When he comes back from his web swinging, he spends like an hour in a chair with that mind washing device that I was just talking about, and it restores his memories. It's just part of being a clone. He's not dying. It's just getting harder for him to remember things. Eventually, we get to Peter coming back into the fold. He recovers. He's like, all right, I'm ready to be Spider-Man again. The Beyond Corporation convinces Ben, mind you, this is the same man, or let me rephrase that. The Beyond Corporation at that juncture convinces Ben, oh, Peter is trying to take your memories away from you. He's not your friend. He hates you. He wants to stop you because he wants his memories for himself. And for some fucking reason, well, the reason is Zub Wells, but after that, Ben, whose entire character is predicated on, his entire character arc, his entire character period was, I am a clone. The life I lived is not my life to live. I need to accept that I am Peter, but I am not Peter. How do I find my way after that? What do I do to, define myself? How do I get out of Peter's shadow and be Ben? If you had read anything, not even in recent memory, but that was what all of the 90s Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider comics were about. That's what all of the recent comics about Ben were about. His trip to Las Vegas. All of this shit is about Ben being a hero because he knows I'm Peter, but I'm not. So how do I am an adult. I accept that. How do I move on? So to have him go, oh, I hate you and I believe that you are my enemy and not working against me is a completely fucking stupid heel turn. Like, it made no sense whatsoever. So that heel turn eventually leads to the confrontation you've been seeing on the page for the last couple minutes between Ben and Peter. He starts beating the shit out of Peter, starts fighting him, and amidst their fight, as you see right here, let's see, as you can see here, they eventually find themselves on the precipice of a giant vat of goo, a la Ace Chemicals and the Joker from DC, and Ben falls in, and the goo touches him. It all explodes, but the goo is what leads to him being here. While I get to the page, so the goo is what causes him to be Chasm eventually. But the thing with the goo is that, as you see in these pages, what it does is it essentially just rots your mind out. It sort of helps to, like, what's the right way to say this? The goo reacts to your memories, and so Ben would use it to help stimulate and rebuild those connections, but it absorbs those memories to use them. So what happened was the goo essentially took all of Ben's normal memories away, and now he thinks that he's just empty and that Peter is actively trying to stop him. So I don't even fucking remember how we got. Oh, right, psychoreactive goo. So that's essentially what the psychoreactive goo is all about, right? Like, it leads him to not know who he is, not see himself, just identity crisis, which again, we've seen 900 times before in Spider-Man comics. So that is what the psychoreactive goo does. It basically messes with your head and cleans you out, for lack of a better term, whether good or bad. Now, let me get that issue back of Wells's terrible run. We go back to here. So that's what happens is Peter touches the goo, and the goo excises the goblin spirit. And this is what I wanted to get to. This is where you see that it is a physical change to be the goblin, not a mask. Like, Peter reverts completely thanks to the goo to regular. It's stupid. It's rehashing a concept that was dumb to begin with the goo. And again, you guys built this moment up of Peter being a goblin, and this is what you did with it. You had a less than a book fight, pulled something out of your ass to revert him, and now you know where this book is going. This book's next plot is, oh, I'm Peter, I'm gonna go fight the Green Goblin. Like, it's just so boring. Like, we've been here a million times. I say this complaint all the time. One of the dumber things Wells did during this run was try to convince us that, oh, Norman Osborn is a hero now. This is a real permanent turn, because A, this is comic books. Western comic books cannot evolve past, like, their status quo whatsoever. And two, this is Norman Osborn. This is your Joker. This is Joker and Lex Luthor literally fused together. Is anybody going to expect that he permanently goes to the side of the Angels? No. Everybody knew this was coming, so this isn't exciting. This isn't fun. This is just, oh, Peter versus Green Goblin again. Just like, oh, Batman versus the Joker again. Great. Seen it. Are you doing anything new? No? Fuck it. Okay. Now, to that point, I do want to mention something, and I got to go to the browser to do this. So, as I mentioned before, yes, Zeb Wells is patently retarded. Like, I will stand behind that, Zero. Like, I do not have faith in this man. This man should not be allowed around creative mediums. But I digress. So, oh, hey, I'm not even in the right window. I'm looking at something else. But as I referenced a little earlier, this is where Zeb Wells' Spider-Man is now, but we are soon going to be out of it, where we just got the announcement that the 58th issue of Amazing Spider-Man will kick off the final arc for Zeb Wells. We have no idea how long it'll be or what. Pardon me. But apparently it's coming to a head with a Tombstone fight. The entire big final arc of Spider-Man, of his run, is going to be Tombstone. And I've said this in all of my articles. Gang War is boring. There's something about the mafioso. Spider-Man doesn't work on the current standing of Spider-Man in the 616 doesn't make fighting crime on this street level make any real sense, because he, at this point in his his Marvel career, he's been an Avenger multiple times. He's saved universes. He can call help. He has allies. He doesn't need to be. This is just so. it's kind of like how I feel with Blood Hunt and Vampires. It just feels like a very, very like a neutered threat. Like, you might get some dings in, but is Tombstone really, really going to be the one that puts Peter down ever? Are the gangs going to be causing Peter any real threat? Like, when we have psycho-reactive goo and goblin spears and there's a Venom war that's about to start, like, it feels very... It just feels underwhelming. That's the best way to put it. Like, oh boy, Tombstone. And yes, like you said there, Zero, Tombstone has long ceased to be a fitting villain for Peter. Peter, like, I don't like him being on this sort of like big bad, or not big bad, but like big Avengers celebrity level, but that's where he is. So street level threats like this, I can see like Peter combating them, right? Don't get me wrong. He's not going to start ignoring muggers or organized crime or drug dealers or anything, but they're not going to pose a threat to him. They're not going to give him a run for his money in the same way that a Dr. Octopus might, or a, why am I blanking on enemies? Kraven, Mysterio, even Chameleon has more of a threat. You guys remember, it's such a cool moment. And I don't know if you are around right now. My boy Donut, he was around last week when we were talking about when we were talking about Krakoa and we were talking about Uncanny Spider-Man, and he thought that the idea of the Uncanny Spider-Man in general, of Nightcrawler having a spin in the webs, was a fun idea. And after the show, I went, that is a fun idea. Let me just browse through that book. I remember having a lot of fun with it. Let me find some pages to show him that says, you know, this is why you should read that book. And I remember this page was beyond like cool as fuck. Like that's just the only way I know how to describe it. Oh man, it's not in this issue? I am off my game. So we'll close that. We'll bring that back up. In that miniseries, Vulture freaking was working with Ortiz, and he took on the oh my gosh, what are they called? They're Cypher, like Cypher, Doug Ramsey. I'm forgetting what it's called. Like it's not the techno-organic virus, but yeah, like he took that on. He melded it with himself. But all that to say, these are the threats that Spidey is up against regularly now. Like, these are his main villains. Mafiosos, they work for a street level. Like, when you're in the very beginning of it all, doesn't work when you can easily go, hey, Tony, can I borrow 400 Iron Man suits and rush the place? Hey, Matt. Hey, Luke. Hey, Danny. Hey, Frank. Everybody, I've got a lead. Come help me out. Like, it's just, it's so... There's just no edge to this at this point. The Tombstone story is just... I'm not feeling any threat from it. I'm not feeling like there are any stakes. And it just feels like Wells, for some reason, has an extreme boner for Tombstone as a villain. And he's just letting it play out, which is fine. Go do you, Wells. It just feels like... It just feels underwhelming. It doesn't feel like... If you were going to make a Hail Mary play to sort of save your run and give people a reason to talk about it, it feels like it should have been this arc, for as stupid as it is, with the psycho-reactive goo and the spider goblin. It should not be a fight against Tombstone. So, all of that to say, Amazing Spider-Man is a very garbage book right now. It is... Zeb Wells cannot leave fast enough, and let me just... Okay. Because this is the good transaction period, or the good, let's see, how do I find this, on, I need to find a tweet about Deadpool 3 so I can talk to you guys about what is pissing me off about this movie. Here we go. Bring this over to the appropriate browser page. Put that over there. Dude, I love Peter on the Future Foundation Fantastic Four flex. I thought that was so... Like, that's a good development for him. It's so natural. It makes sense. And then, we're done with it. And that was another Hickman decision. Again, guys, I think Jonathan Hickman might be one of, if not my favorite writer currently working. Like him and Peach Momoko. And again, I know my Peach Momoko love is an acquired taste. But Court of the Vultures, that vulture looks terrifyingly cool. Oh, it was like, I remember getting to this page, and it was one of those rare moments where I turned a page and went, whoa, that's cool. So kudos to this. And again, this is not Wells. This is being written by C. Spurrier, surprisingly. A very rare win from C, because normally those books, not great. But on the topic of Zeb Wells and Deadpool 3, this is why I need to bring this up to you folks. So, I don't know how many of you, you don't need to see that. You don't need to see who I'm talking to. It's nobody. It's my good old homies over at the bar room with Jacob and all of them. But I don't know if any of you guys saw this news earlier today. But according to a new interview from Total Film, we just learned that at the beginning of Deadpool 3, Wade will be essentially Jake Skywalker. Quote, he's proving to be useless at selling cars, hawking Blind Al's blood pressure meds to make rent, and his beloved Vanessa has a new boyfriend. So, how do I address this? So, biggest elephant in the room. Yes, this is a Jake Skywalkering. However, I don't know, given Deadpool and all of this, I don't know if this is a genuine Jake Skywalkering or if they are playing on that concept. I genuinely hope it's the latter and not the first. But I need you guys to remember something. What? Why is nothing wanting to cooperate with me today? Hit this so that we can see what I am talking about. So, sounds awful. Wade is being Jake Skywalker. Why is Vanessa with a new guy, even though that was the entire point of that last fucking movie, was that she died and he lost his mind and they got back together at the end, right? Well, I'd like to point you to a fact that a lot of people haven't really paid attention to, except for me. Here is the writing credits for Deadpool 3. Now, who do we see there? Shawn Levy, the director, Rhett Reese, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool himself, Paul Wernick, and Zeb fucking Wells. I would bet dollars to donuts that this stupid decision to shit on Wade and reset him to 1 and cuck him is literally from Wells, because that is the exact same shit he does. That is what he did to Peter. Like, this man is a hack in the purest sense of the word. This man is a goddamn hack. And he is one note he's 2 notes. It's shit. Make sure the main character is shit on and starts from -0 in our story, and do things just for the sake of shocking people, right? Like Chasm, MJ, or Paul, Kamala dying. All of this shit is just, it's his style. That's all he does. And I saw that news. I saw that tweet that we were looking at, and I just went, yeah. Like, I saw this and I went, I know it's you, Zeb. You are palling Wade. You were palling Deadpool 3. Now, Zero notes it right here. Wow, now my hope for this movie just died. My hope, unfortunately, like, I've known this fact for a while, so I've always sort of been like, I will admit to you guys, you know, there's that term. You are not immune to advertising. You're not immune to propaganda. Deadpool 3, from what I've seen of it, has interested in me. I look at it and I go, could be a fun time. I wouldn't mind going and seeing it, right? But there's always in the back of my mind going, I genuinely cannot trust it until I see it, because Zeb Wells is there. More than anything, that is the reddest flag that this movie is throwing up. I want you guys to know that not only was Wells brought in like halfway through the film's production or like its writing process, but Wells's previous live action Marvel Cinematic Universe credit that got him the job for this was fucking She-Hulk. He was a writer on She-Hulk, which cucks its main character and treats her like a loser. So I don't know, like, just get out. This is a no Zeb Wells zone. Leave, like, again, I said this last week or the last time we talked about him. Zeb Wells is capable of writing some fun stuff. There are things he has written that I have found myself a fan of. The Marvel Adventure series from back in the early 2000s is complete kino. I highly recommend it. But the man has completely gone off of his rock. He is not somebody who should be allowed in charge. He needs somebody overseeing him. He needs a better editor. I mean, a lot of these problems start at the Spider editor office with like Nick Lowe and all those jackasses who keep replying to all the letters saying, "Oh, nobody really likes nobody wants One More Day retcon. Everybody likes this direction of Peter being a broke ass." So get Nick Lowe out of there. Get anybody else in there. Like, here's how you know that this is an editorial problem, and this segues right like perfectly into the second part of this discussion, is Marvel has teams of editors and writers who are capable of delivering good content. Like this, the ultimate editor's room they are murdering storytelling, like in a good way. Everything from Ultimate Invasion to the Ultimate Universe one-shot to the Free Comic Book Day to Ultimate Spider-Man, X-Men, Ultimate itself, it's all been really, really good. The weakest book, in my opinion, is Ultimate Black Panther. And I've said this before, it's because that book is basically just a retread of the MCU. If you've watched the Black Panther movies, you have seen the first, what are we at? Like first 4 or 5 issues that have come out. The only deviation is that Storm is there. So imagine Halle Berry in Black Panther 1, and you've got that first arc. It's not bad. It is just exceptionally safe. It still has potential. It's not thing to be written off yet, but it's just being played extremely safe right now. Now, I don't want the Ultimate editors and everything to be taken off their duties and be distracted and go work on the Spider books. But my point is, they know what they're doing. Marvel has talent over there, and it is completely possible to make good stuff if you care, if you're putting in the effort. Like, for all of Jonathan Hickman's faults, for all insane he can get, for all extreme and out there with his ideas, the man cares about what he's doing. He's excited about working with these characters, with this story. He's not looking to win you over, or rather, he's not looking to make his mark on history by giving you a big bombastic moment like Spider-Goblin or Paul or Chasm, right? He's finding a story and writing it. And in that process, we get giant, amazing moments. If you guys don't remember, we looked at it a couple months ago, I think now, but during the Infinity story in the Avengers books back in 2012, there's a scene where when the Avengers find themselves on the back foot, they're like, the Beyonders are winning. We have nothing to do. So they say, all right, we have to go parlay with them. Send Thor. Thor goes to the the Beyonders ship, and they go, no weapons. And so he chucks his hammer out into space, and he goes to meet with the Beyonder, and the Beyonder basically goes, you have nothing to negotiate here. You're fucked. You will listen to it. Like, we've won. And he's like, kneel. Like, and so Thor kneels, and it's this big, it looks like Thor is defeated. And the Beyonder is giving this big speech about how he is their betters. And all Thor says is like, the Beyonder's like, is there anything you have to say in your defense, like God of Thunder? And he goes, I say thee nay. And the hammer whips around a sun and slingshots back and rips through the lead Beyonder. And it's like, war back on. So like, Hickman is great at having these moments. He just doesn't need to piss anybody off to necessarily do it. Let's see. Zero says yes. He wrote. He was on the She-Hulk writing team. Yes, exactly. Shinkai going to be sick. And yes, I do agree. Zero, Hickman's the best writer. And Flex, I'm right there with you. When is Peter going to earn back his doctorate? Probably never. It's one of the biggest complaints I have, and that's what you're seeing. So, let's use that as a segue, right? One of the biggest complaints that I have, that Spider fans have all the time, and we've just gone over, is that Peter can never progress. They always have to, take him back to square one. When Dan Slott took over the book, he reset him back to 1 and broke him up, or he was already broken up because of One More Day, but he made him go back to the Daily Bugle. When Nick Spencer took over the book, he took away Parker Industries, which I thought was a smart, like a natural development. When Wells took over the book, he took away all of the development with Mary Jane and getting his life back together to the point where, I have to search for apartments again with Robbie. So we want Peter to grow, to be an adult. So many fans love that Peter who is smart, is using his intelligence, is one of the top, probably, there's always like that top 10 smartest people in Marvel. He's probably like 11 or 12. He's not that far off. But the main Amazing books are never going to give that to you. The 616 isn't going to give that to you because they are obsessed with this idea that boring loser Peter Parker is what everybody wants to see. When we have literally seen that shit forever. Every single adaptation, near every single story, revolves around Peter being a broke ass, being, a bum, being, down on his luck. It's not fun to see somebody you love and really root for and really care about constantly crapped on. And that's how a lot of people feel with the current Amazing Spider-Man. But then you jump over here to the 6160 and you have one of the fucking... I'm probably going to start swearing here, guys, like more than I normally would, and I apologize. I do normally try to keep this a little PG for anybody listening in public or like in a public room, but this issue, this arc so far, this book, this publishing initiative has been absolutely incredible. Guys, prior to the launch of the Ultimate Universe, or the relaunch of the Ultimate Universe, I had not bought a comic book since Final Crisis, probably, when I was in college. Because, obviously, I was in college, I kind of got distracted, but then everything just shit the bed. There was nothing worth reading about. Everything was awful, everything was preachy, all of my favorite characters were being thrown out the door for no reason. Ben got turned into the Jackal. Patriot got replaced by a new Black Patriot, because why not? And now I am on comic book websites. Like earlier today, the September solicits for Marvel came out, and I was reading them, and I was rushing to the site where I order my variants and making sure I had things on pre-order. I have a long box again in my room. It is bonkers what good writing and what a good story can do. This is giving people what they want from Peter. This is a Peter who can grow, who can mature, who has a family, has just everything. I don't even know where to start with this book, where just literally everything from his relationship with MJ to his approach to becoming Spider-Man to his friendship with Harry to this fight that we will get into with Kingpin. It's all just expertly written. And, there are two things I want to address real quick, because these are the most common complaints I'm seeing, or three things that I want to address that are the most sort of common complaints that I am seeing about this run. One is that is issue 4. A lot of people said issue 4, which is the issue where Peter and MJ go to dinner with Harry and Gwen, and they have the sort of TV style drama conversation about what does it mean to be a hero? What's our mission? Are we going to do this? Yada, 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 yada. A lot of people were going, oh, that was completely boring. That was one of the worst issues of all time. You idiots, you're showing your ass there, because you're admitting with that you don't care about story or writing or tension or any of this stuff that actually makes a story. You just want to see big explosion. You're no better than the Marvel Cinematic Universe stands. And it is just bonkers to me that anybody can sort of come to that conclusion that issue 4 was awful. Number 2 is a lot of people say that Jonathan Hickman is misogynist because he doesn't know how to write women, and to that point they point to MJ and they go, look at how little MJ did in this arc. And it's like, look, I love MJ as a character. She's my number one Peter girl. I know that she has a lot that she can do. She's very capable. A lot of my favorite stories involve her hanging out alongside Peter. One of my favorite character moments for MJ, even though it's sort of in a mediocre event, was Spider Island, where when all of New York got, infected with spider powers, MJ did too. But given her years of hanging out with Peter and swinging on his back and just being by his side, she knew how to use those powers, and she led, she was like, all right, New York, let me show you, follow my lead. A normal person can do this. Don't be afraid. Like, that's her strength, her wisdom, like we were talking about. We always bring it back full circle on this show. So to call MJ, or to say that Hickman is mistreating MJ's character, dude, we are 6 issues in. The book is Spider-Man. We have been introducing an entire world. Chill the fuck out. If you are at this point going, why hasn't MJ done something big and bombastic? You are that tweet where the bird from the bird Twitter account where it's like, I am uncomfortable if not about me. Chill out. MJ will have her due time. This issue, she has an amazing moment. Again, that first issue where Peter goes to talk to her and says, like, my life isn't fulfilling. I need to change something. He doesn't tell her what it is. She still and she still trusts him and loves him and says, I will support you. It's one of my favorite pages in a comic book ever. You do not see that. You do not see that level of like loving, supportive relationship anywhere. Straight, gay, whatever. And like, you got that from MJ. MJ set herself apart from all these other cliche, love interests in that she's there on his side, like with him. So you all need to chill the hell out if you're upset about that. Second, I have seen a lot of people being very, very stupid. So let's get into this real quick. So if you guys haven't read the issue yet, this issue basically, it concludes the first arc of the book. It involves Harry and Peter going to confront the Kingpin, who absolutely just hands them their shit. It is incredible. Like, Harry and Spider-Man just get the absolute piss knocked out of them. And I like that. Like, I like that our heroes go in and they weren't automatically kicking ass and doing everything great, right? Like, they're struggling. They do not win this encounter. They blow up the office and they escape, but Fisk, that's a win for Fisk, right? So, and then after this, so the framing device of this story is that Peter's come home and he's all beat up, and his family asks, what the hell happened? And while he's trying to make an excuse, Mayday accidentally blurts it out that he was being a superhero. So he has to tell his family everything that's going on. Now, to my point about MJ, so this relates to the fact that people claim MJ hasn't done anything, and this third complaint where a lot of people were hoping that when MJ learns about Peter's, new life, that she was going to get mad at him, become a villain, take it out on him. And I hear that, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why? First you say Hickman's a misogynist, and then you want this completely unflattering heel turn for MJ for like no reason. You want her to be mad at Peter. You want her to yell at him. No, fuck that. That's not mature. That's what children do. You know what adults do? They do what happens in this issue where they talk about it, and MJ's understanding. She expresses she's mad a little bit, but she's also very understanding and loving of her husband. And also, those are some bedroom eyes if I have ever seen one, MJ. But to the point of MJ hasn't done anything yet, this is, to me, her doing something, giving Peter that support, showing him, reminding him through the self-doubt of what he can do. And she's doing this on her own, of her own volition, because she is just that strong of a woman. And then she even fucking names him. Like, this is the thumbnail for tonight's show. This amazing final shot of MJ and Peter web swinging into the future as the ultimate spider couple. So, like, why in the hell would you earnestly try to ask for MJ? Why would you do that? If you claim to be an MJ fan or a Spider fan, why would you want that for them? That's a Zeb Wells level of drama twist. And it's not, nobody's buying it. It's not impressing anybody. But just at the end of this book, I don't even genuinely know what else to say about this book. It is incredibly written. It's incredibly drawn, and just like everything, it's just genuine fun to read from top to bottom. Even like this, I love this exchange right here. It's Harry and Peter, hey, Harry calls Peter by his name and he goes, hey, don't use my name while we're in costume. Why wear a mask if you're going to do that? Use a code name or something. And Harry goes, but we don't have code names. You do. You're the Green Goblin. That's what everyone is calling you. Who? Reporters, civilians, the internet, them? Well, they don't get to pick my code name. I pick my code name. Okay, so what's your code name? I kind of like Green Goblin. Like, this is good. This is like what old school Marvel like quipping and like awkward funny was. Nobody's making fun of the premise or shattering the current atmosphere. It's just a very natural interaction between the two. But yeah, like I highly encourage you guys. Like I'm zoomed in, right? So you're gonna see, where's that panel? It's right here. Like Fisk annihilates Harry. Like that is a pure look of fear. I was pointing this out to Andrew the other day. I love this panel right here. I love the fact that Fisk is so fuck huge that he makes Harry, who otherwise looks intimidating and scary and like he actually knows what he's doing, he makes him look like a little wiener doing cosplay. I love it so much. But also to this point, you can still have Kingpin and gangsters and mobsters as your villain for this Spider-Man because it's early. He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't have that reputation and that wide reach of allies and resources. So that's why it works here, and it doesn't work over with Zeb Wells and Tombstone and everything that's going on over there. Shinkai says, MJ riding Peter, definitely chef's kiss. Also, yes, phrasing. Love that you caught it yourself. But yeah, like, this book has been so consistently fire, just every issue, that I am stunned. I told Andrew the other day, like, I am officially with this issue on board for the entire run or Hickman's run on this book. Like, it's so good. I cannot believe just that we are finally getting this good of a Spider-Man story from Marvel themselves in 2024. And, you know, as just a quick, and it's not just Spider-Man, it's all of Ultimate. I sort of touched upon this before. Like, Ultimate Black Panther is fine. Ultimates is really, really, really good, really interesting, especially with the Ultimate Doom is actually Reed Richards, who was manipulated by Maker, and where is that all going to go? And then I am loving Ultimate X-Men. Like, I am a big Peach Momoko fan. I love that sort of spooky wooky paranormal stuff, so I am loving that bent on the book. I know a lot of people don't, and I truly do not fault them for it, but I am loving it. Like, I am so excited by that. It brought back Surge. Surge is like one of my favorite minor X-Men characters, the blue-haired girl with lightning gauntlets. They brought her back for Ultimate, but also, side note, they're bringing her back for X-Force. So I'm a happy camper right now when it comes to Marvel. Let's hope that, at least for the foreseeable future, they can keep it up. Because you know what, guys? I have a lot of foil variant covers currently on order, and I would be very, very upset if those foil covers are attached to absolutely garbage level books. But with that being said, we are 2 hours 45 minutes into the show. I think that is a great spot for us to wrap it up tonight. Final word, go read Ultimate Spider-Man. Go read the Ultimate Universe. If you like Spider-Man, it is a good book. It is an incredible book. Comes highly recommended. I am also loving, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they are, for the reprints of Ultimate Spider-Man, they are doing more of the Marco Cicchetto costume variant covers, the ones from the first issue that I collect. So far, they did Scarlet Spider and the Superior Spider suit, so I am super stoked to see what they come up with next. I'm buying all of them. You got me by the balls, Marvel. Take your W. You deserve it. All right, guys. With that being said, I think it is time to call it a night. I know everybody has a lot to do. It is a Friday night. Video games to play, movies to watch, people to talk to, drinks to drink, things to smoke. I will let you all get out of here. As always, before we officially get out of here, I want to say thank you to every single one of you who showed up to hang out with me tonight, from Andrew to Zero to Shinkai to Flex to Zero to Who else was here? Corey was here. I know that. I know Timon was here. I know, unfortunately, we didn't see some of our regulars like Ravul or Eccentric, but I know you're out there. Miss you guys. Can't wait to see you again. If you want to, as always, if you want to see more of me live, you can always catch me. Well, first off, if you just want more of me in general, you can catch me on Twitter right there at Kabuto Rider Mav. I mostly just, tweeting about comic books and all the things I like and don't like. Very simple, very obvious. You guys know what it is. You probably got the link to the show from Twitter. If you want to see more of me live before next week, you can catch me Wednesday nights over on Bounding Into Comics for the 0-1 stream, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I am joined by Cider, Jacob, Nerdigans, and Josh, and we break down the big pop culture news of the day. So if you're looking for my takes on Star Wars, Marvel, DC, all of the bigger stuff like the movies and television, that's where you're going to find it. We'll always be happy to have you. Come hang out. If you want more of this show, as always, next week, same Mav time, save Mav channel for another episode of The Good, the Mav, the Ugly. As always, topics are decided in advance, or not in advance, because we just talk about whatever happens in the week. So no idea what it'll be next week. Hopefully it'll be something equally as exciting and lighthearted and fun, because I love comic books sometimes. This is what comic book reading is about, right? So aside from that, just quick clerical stuff. One, I just learned this, and I don't know if this will be of any interest to anybody else, but if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, the Stream Buddy was a variant cover for the upcoming X-Men reboot by J. Scott Campbell. It was magic. It was yellow. I liked it a lot. I have learned since then that he is actually doing a full set of X-Ladies for the at least first 4 or 5 issues of the X-Men reboot. So if you are about his artwork, like I know Andrew is, definitely check it out. I might be picking up that entire set because that magic cover just speaks to me, and I absolutely hate having a non-finished collection. So with that said, and aside from that, I want to stream some Xenoblade tonight. I will see what I have got going on. There is a lot on my plate that I have to move off, but I think I can do it very quickly. We will see how that turns out. And aside from that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, check out Bounding Into Comics every day. Go check out all the channels from all the people who hang out here, all of my friends, whether it's Andrew over the Ripperverse, Corey, I think you have a channel. Go, Jacob, Cider, all of their stuff. Do that. Yes, Timon, Eiyuden Chronicles is a love letter to the Suikoden games. It is on my list. It was going to be the next game I played, and then a certain group of people got me to play a certain Xenoblade Chronicles, but I am definitely excited for Eiyuden Chronicles. It is on my backlog. I will get to it eventually. That being said, everybody, I hope you have a great weekend. And before you get out of here, as always, I have your last call for last minute news. And just in the theme of the discussion, I figured this one's going to be a little longer. It runs on the 2-minute side, but every single second of it is going to be enjoyable. And, overall, I just wanted to show you guys, Zeb Wells' take on gangs and Spider-Man and Tombstone. Let's take a look at what happens when somebody who knows what they're doing actually decides that they want to take on those characters. Let's take a look.
I'm here to see Mr. Lincoln.
Then you should make an appointment. But perhaps we'll make an exception for the hero of the day. I am L. Thompson Lincoln.
Please, you're the big man.
In my life, I've been called many names. My favorite is Tombstone.
Back off. I just took down the Rhino. A pale guy in a suit doesn't stand.
Don't move. Just listen. And I'll teach you the facts of life. The big man, whomever he might be, has nothing against heroes. No hero can thwart enough crime to dent his income. But you frighten criminals off the street entirely, except when you're off battling the likes of the Rhino. Then the big man's profitable army of petty thugs think themselves beneath the Spider-Man's notice.
So, as long as I keep fighting crime, you'll keep making bigger and badder...
Now you're learning. But there is a way out. Come work for me. You can still save the world like a good hero. I'll even pay you. All you have to remember is to look the other way on occasion. On any occasion I choose.
I can't ever look the other way again. Let's finish this.
If you insist. Officers, Spider-Man has trespassed on my property, assaulted my employees, and threatened my person.
Wait! You can't listen to him. He's the bad guy. He's...
Freeze, Spider-Man! You're under...
Never ran from the cops before, and this reeks. I've won all the battles and never came close to winning the war. But Tombstone did make one mistake. Now I know there is a war. So bring it on.
Oh, I have no idea why I cut off the audio at the end of that. But yes, Spectacular Spider-Man, a version of Tombstone that actually is threatening because it works early on in Peter's career. I thought, I love Spectacular Spider-Man. It's a good cartoon. If you got nothing to do this weekend, go check it out. But until next time, everybody, go have fun. Have an incredible weekend. I cannot wait to see you all again. I'm sure I will talk to a lot of you soon. Farewell to everybody in the live chat. Farewell to everybody in the VOD. And until next time, take it easy, everybody.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought
No
it on
way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so
Out.
sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him like burned and well,
I don't even
executed
know
and
who
burned.
that guy is.